I'm back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of JBK Zone Coverage. I'm your host. Welcome back to myself, the Big Dog. Season 1, episode 23, man. I hope everybody doing great, man. I miss all you guys, man. I hope y'all miss me. If not, go fuck yourselves. I like to say, before I get anybody on the panel, I just want to give a quick shout out to my panel. Be sure to Robbie and the magazines and Robbie for holding it down while I've been out. I've been going through a lot of things personally, and I'm kind of getting myself back together, so I haven't been on in a while. I'd like to thank those guys for holding it down. I appreciate y'all so much, man. I want to thank y'all for holding it down, man. Appreciate y'all so much. So let me go to bring my fellas up here. Come on, be sure. Come on, Robbie. Come on, Monkey. Going on, everybody? You doing all right?
What up, man? Welcome back, man.
Welcome back. Up?
Appreciate you, man. I'm glad to be back. Man.
I missed you, man.
I know I did too. I missed being on the show too. When I did the Let Me Explain, but I was like, damn, I miss being on here.
I know you do.
I'm glad. But yeah, we do have a special guest. We're gonna bring him here as well. He's a Motor City Mania Detroit Lions fan. Really has his own podcast as well. He's by David Pike. Hold on, man.
How do?
You doing all right, man? Glad you could be on the show, man. We got a lot of topics and discussions to talk about, man, in this show. We got the Super Bowl edition. Super Bowl Sunday coming up tomorrow. We got the Kansas City Chiefs going up to 49ers, man. I know a lot of people are excited about the halftime show than the game itself. But, it's football at the end of the day, It's the last football game that you're going to see for a while, So we might as well enjoy it, right? So, as always, man, I just want to let y'all know, man, we're growing we're expanding, and with our social media platforms, and the easy way to get hooked on under that is our QR code. Put on my right, or you just scan that QR code, and you go to every last one of our platforms. So you go to subscribe today, man. Do appreciate y'all, because we're nothing without y'all, and I thank y'all so much. All right, y'all. Everybody about ready to go? You ready to get right?
Yeah. Hold on, just a moment.
We ready to go? All right, y'all, get right to the flashback video of the week.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on a minute.
I'm ready to stop looking at John's big head.
Hey, don't throw my head like that.
Hey, we gotta give him a little bit of props there. Bro.
Oh, I point the wrong way. See?
Yep.
Right there.
Look at you.
Yeah, it is.
Look at
Right
you
there.
being unprofessional. All right. So let's see. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Hold on. I'm getting there. I boo-booed.
Yeah.
I boo-booed.
You get that finger.
I thought I had videos on here, but nope, I boo-booed. Not my bad. The producer messed up. The producer. All right, as soon as I get it loaded. There we go. All right, here we go.
18 carries a game. Mike Tolbert is in. He's on a wing to the right. And the Panthers have a 3rd and 10. Here comes pressure, and they've gotten to him. The ball is out in the end zone, and it's recovered by Malik Jackson for the touchdown. It was Vaughn Miller with the strip sack, and Jackson with the recovery.
Nobody opened down the field fast enough in Vaughn Miller.
9. Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
And that was your flashback video week.
How did we not talking about that Super Bowl too?
Without having a Super Bowl flashback, Von Miller taking over and Super Bowl 50 against the Carolina Panthers in the win. He also named MVP of that game. How can we not have a flashback video without Super Bowl edition, without having a Super Bowl flashback?
I know that.
So that was your flashback video of the week. All right, y'all. Let's get right into Monkeys news.
Y'all remember the whole thing of not having news?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Remember the whole point of saying,
because we're at the end of our time with that.
Yeah, we don't really have a lot of news. Bill Belichick's not hired on anywhere yet, or won't be hired on as a head coach.
He's overrated anyway.
The Bills took their linebackers coach and made him the defensive coordinator. The Chargers. They signed Greg Roman as their offensive coordinator, so there goes Justin Herbert's career. Rumors have it that the Chargers are looking into trying to trade for Saquon Barkley, which would make sense with douchebag through OC.
Who's trading for him?
Chargers.
The Chargers. It's just a rumor that was being said.
Wasn't Austin Eckler happy about not getting paid enough?
No, he wants to keep Eckler. He just came out and said he wanted to keep Eckler.
Yeah.
How do you utilize that?
Basically, what the Chargers are going to do, just to add to your news there, the Chargers are basically moving all of Michigan's offensive and defensive coordinators to the Chargers. So the Chargers are the LA Wolverines now.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. There
you go. That's a good stat.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to get into some topics, man? We got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. So everybody ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
I should get right to our very first topic. Let's get right straight into the AFC Championship recap game. Chiefs want to win 17-10 in this game. Very, very tight game. You know, I was excited watching the Ratbirds lose. You know, it brings joy to my heart seeing Baltimore lose at any given time. If it's not against us, it's anybody else. You know, so I thoroughly enjoyed this, man. This was a really, really good game. When you look at this game, I find it so wow, because the week before this game, let me explain. I explained why Patrick Mahomes was the greatest quarterback right now, as of right now, best quarterback in football right now. And I gave my reasons why to feel the way. And I feel like the way he utilized this offense, man, is like, I look at the wide receiver core, it's not good at all. It's not. If you take away Rice and Travis Kelce, they have nothing there. There's nothing there. And Patrick Mahomes still found ways to get his guys over when needed to. Travis Kelce, there was no answer for Travis Kelce at all. Like, they couldn't guard him at all. I don't know what that was about, but they couldn't. This is probably one of the best Ravens defense in a long time since the year 2000 year. And they had no answer for Travis Kelce, man. I was able to do what he could. But, you know, it was a crazy game. I think the Ravens, I don't think the Ravens played too bad. I think they shot away from what they're known, and which is the running game. They didn't even touch 100 yards rushing as a total team. And usually when they do, they increase their chances of winning. But I feel like they try to stick to the passing game with Lamar Jackson. Some fumbles occurred twice, and then a bad interception and triple coverage by Lamar Jackson late in the game. I'm not sure what he was looking at there. Zay Flowers, I feel like he should just try. I feel like he should just shove his whole body to the stretching out, because Snead was right there, punched it right out way before he was up the line. That was impactful. Robert Stanley didn't protect the blind side. Lamar Jackson ended up fumbling. And it was just bad. It was just bad. Bad for the Ravens, but good for the Chiefs, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my take on that one. Hey, Bishop, what's your thoughts on that Kansas City Chiefs game?
I was really surprised, to tell you the truth. I really thought that the Ravens were going to play at a high level, especially at the bank, and they were going to be able to defeat Kansas City. I really didn't think so. I thought this was going to be Lamar's year, but then that's what I get for thinking. I think the one thing that killed the Ravens in that game was Zay Flowers doing rookie dumb stuff. And, you know, that touchdown that he was going to get but never got because he was up there standing over people taunting him like a dumbass. You don't do that, and especially in a championship game when all the referees are going to be paying attention to you anyway. You probably could get away with that during a regular season, but not during a championship game. You should know better than that. Your teammates should have been up on you on that. I think I don't know what it is either about the Chiefs' magic about Kelce getting open like that. I mean, he was so wide open sometimes. I was like, where the hell is the rest of the secondary at? There's no way you can let that big fella get all the way through there without covering him. That's the main focus that you should have throughout the whole game. Travis Kelce is the weapon. If you can't shut down the weapon, you're going to lose the game. So why don't you have like two people on him all the time? Spy him. Instead of having a spy for Patrick Mahomes, have a spy for Kelce. So two people can get him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. The Chiefs are finding ways to win, and they don't really have – wasn't really their strongest team this year.
No, it's not.
They were a little bit better, but this wasn't really their strongest team this year. But they found a way to win the game. So
best defense they've had.
Defense are definitely good.
JC is right, man. Patrick Mahomes finds ways.
Found ways to win. Kevin, since you already started up talking, go ahead. Kevin, what you got? Monkey, what you got? Okay.
You know who else thought it was Lamar's year? Ravens fans. Now, see, I
Right,
don't
so.
have an issue with the Ravens per se because I'm not in the North. But their fans, on the other hand, holy fucking Jesus A. Christ. What the fuck? Like, they were riding Dick real hard all year long. And then they lose, and we got one guy who decides, oh, well, I talked all that shit, and I'm not going to be able to take the, the receiving end, so I'm going to quit the group. Aaron Jacobs, not to mention anybody. But then you got, other ones that'll sit there and just rub it. Now that Lamar has the MVP award, oh, now that's all we're going to hear about for the next freaking months. But you can never count out Patrick Mahomes. That's just not something you can do. But I honestly thought it was going to be the Ravens and the Niners in the Super Bowl. I really did. I still don't think the Ravens would have won. I know they whooped their ass earlier on in the season, but that was earlier on in the season. This is a Super Bowl, not regular season.
All right, David, what you got? Your recap of this game.
Well, honestly, for me, when I watched the game, I thought it was going to be a pretty good game, all things considered, because like most everybody else in the panel has stated, is that it's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. But the reason why he's the best quarterback in the league is because he has the ability to take what he has around him and elevate it. He has the ability to get others to play at higher levels than what we've seen them play.
Not Tony.
Well, Tony's a different case altogether. He couldn't freaking catch coronavirus if he walked into a lab.
We'll be talking about him later on today. Trust me. Robbie,
anyway,
go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
But for me, the thing about it is that game when I watched it, I thought more than anything, it was once again a legacy definer. But it was a legacy definer for the opposite reason than most people want to listen to. I thought it was a legacy definer for Lamar because you have to think about it. He just won the MVP award, but this is the same guy that we've heard for the last couple of years. Oh, this guy is electric. He's talented, blah, 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 blah. And I've made this argument multiple times before. Lamar is a talented player. I do not see him as a talented quarterback because this is a guy who can run the ball for days on end, but when it comes time to win the game with his arm, he simply can't do it. I believe one of you guys said it earlier. When the Ravens started going away from the run game, which is their bread and butter, and they put the ball in Lamar's hand to try and win it throwing the ball, they collapsed. Hence the reason why Lamar finished the game with 2 interceptions. You cannot ask Lamar Jackson to try and win a game with his arm, especially not in a game like that. Lamar is not used to that. The Ravens' bread and butter has been let us run the ball, pound the clock, and we're going to win the game with our defense. They went completely opposite of that, and then that's what screwed them over. Okay, I see a comment here from Guthrie. He's won some games with his arms. Big games, no. Yeah, that's the thing, though. The best quarterbacks, what do? They win in the big games. They win in the conference championship games. They win in the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's not done that. His playoff record speaks for itself. It's 2-5. That's Dak Prescott numbers right there. Thank you and good night.
Hi, Robbie. Go ahead, Robbie. What's your thoughts?
I thought this season had a little deja vu from 2019, where they had a great record. They ran the ball. They got into the playoffs. They got away from the run game and tried turning Lamar into a position that he cannot play, and that's quarterback.
Again, talented player, not talented quarterback.
Oh,
I agree.
Don't forget about that interception in the game where he threw the ball into quadruple coverage.
I don't know what he was looking at. And you know what's so crazy about this game? You know the Chiefs never scored again after the first half. They never scored again. That is credit to the Ravens defense. So the fact that the offense was able to compensate for that is a problem too. Back to what David was talking about, that's a problem, bro. Asking him to do something where he's not comfortable with that is an issue. But we've been talking this for a while. Now, has he got better with his throwing ability? Of course. We're not blind to the fact. When it comes to big games, you cannot shy away from what you're good at.
They did this twice. This is second time.
Look at this game. Like, They had no answer for Travis Kelce. The turnover, the battle, they lost in miserable, terrible fashion. What B should talk about with the taunting. I don't know why he did that. I think I got called because he threw the ball right by him. I don't think as much as the fact that over. I think when he threw the ball down, that's what really called the flag. I'm pretty sure they would just let it go. He just stood over. It is what it is. Throwing the football right near him. That was the issue. And then also with the touchdown, you had to clear to the touchdown. I think you should do your whole body in there. I thought you should just use. No, nobody held you. You just try to stretch out, and they got put that right. And Lewinsky was right there. Right there.
And the Chiefs' defense was 20th against the rush.
Yeah,
they played into the Chiefs' strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chiefs were better against the pass than they were against the run.
I told everybody.
And then Baltimore's pass offense was ranked 27th before the playoffs started.
I told everybody, bro. I feel like this is the worst offensive core that Patrick has ever had outside of Travis Kelce and Rice. I like Rice. Rice is a rookie guy. He's gonna develop. He's gonna get better. You look at that back shoulder fade pass to what's called what's the wide receiver number 11? What's his name? What did he play for the Packers?
MCV.
He fell. He turned around and fell to the ground before he caught that. That was supposed to be a back shoulder,
hey, John.
but he knew he couldn't catch it that way. So he literally turned around and fell on his bottom and then caught the ball.
Hey, John.
That's how bad he is. That's how bad the wide receiver core is.
Hey, John. You know who was guarding MVS on that?
Who was that?
Arthur Malay.
Oh, it was? It was?
Yeah.
That makes it even worse. That makes it
Mullet?
Because that pass was supposed to be a back shoulder, but he knew that's how bad. He couldn't even catch the back shoulder, so he had to fall to the ground before he caught it. That's how bad everything score was. And Rice, like I said, Rice is a developer guy. I think he's going to get better. And everybody knows who Travis Kelce is. And then Rice, he is what it is. But this is the worst receiver core in football. And Patrick Mahomes still found a way. And you know what makes Patrick so great this time around? He did it on the road this time. Everybody thought, he can't. He always had home field advantage. Always had home field advantage. But now he did it on the road. Now what? Now what can you say?
Prove me wrong.
I think he's the best quarterback in football. Not going nobody. Even if he don't win this game, I think he still is.
Well, I also heard heard Patrick Mahomes is good against number one defenses in the playoffs.
You know how to pick apart defenses. But go ahead, David.
Well, I was just going to simply say this because, again, you have to think about it from Patrick Mahomes' perspective here in that Patrick Mahomes, everyone has said it all freaking year. This is by far the worst receiving talent he has ever had to work with. Well, I seem to recall a quarterback that used to wear 12, that used to way out in New England, who did it for a couple of years. He took no-name receivers like Julian Edelman, like Wes Welker, and he turned them into superstar Hall of Fame wide receivers.
Chris Hogan, another guy that nobody know nothing about.
Danny Amendola.
Danny Amendola. You're right.
So Absolutely. It's like, listen, you literally have Patrick Mahomes, who took Rashee Rice and turned him into a weapon. He took MVS that freaking even Aaron Rodgers couldn't do anything with and made him into a weapon. So it's like, listen, it's like you have the ability with Patrick Mahomes, and it's like, listen, I get it. Some people don't like Patrick Mahomes, but again, the more successful you are, the more haters you're going to have. Anyway, whatever. Right. Point of the matter is, when you're a quarterback that can take talent and elevate it, again, except for Tony, if you're able to do that, that right there puts you in an area that very few quarterbacks can go to, because there are quarterbacks that they have to have talent that's already been cultivated elsewhere and brought in for them to work with. The truly great ones are the ones that get those rookies and they build them up. They make them into something that are a lot better than what people thought they were going to be. So for me, it's like I look at what Patrick Mahomes has done this year, and it's like, I've seen analysts say it, and it's like, for me, I think that Mahomes has done his best work this year. The stats may not prove it, but I think if you take a look at his overall job as a leader, this has been his best year as a quarterback.
That's all about it, man. If the lead MVP could bleed into the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes wins it. And I don't care what I say. I said that if it could bleed it, but it doesn't. We'll talk about that later on, I'm sure, in the show. But let's go ahead and
there's like three stats that stood out to me in this game. First down, third down efficiency. Baltimore was 3 of 11. That's going to kill you every time.
Yeah.
You can't convert a third down. That's going to kill you. The rushing yards, they had 81.
81.
Kansas City had more rushing yards than they did. That's another bad sign for Baltimore. And then the final bad sign for Baltimore was 4 sacks that they gave up to Kansas City.
Yes.
They gave up 4 sacks to Kansas City. It was bad.
Maybe 6, maybe.
So
Hey,
plus on top of that, when you take a look at the turnover differential.
Turnover was another thing. Go ahead, Kevin. Last one.
I said one of them sacks was a fumble.
Yeah.
Hey,
six times, I think.
You better watch his fumble. You better watch his turnovers. And everyone's like, oh, it's because of the playing scheme. It doesn't matter about the scheme. The fact of the matter is, he still puts the ball on the fucking ground.
Hey, but if it's a constellation, they got an MVP. Raven fans got an MVP to brag about.
He didn't deserve that MVP. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I think we all could agree to that. But let's go ahead and move on with our next topic. Let's get right to the NFC Championship game. Usually I will start off with this recap, but I'm going to let the Detroit Lions fans do it, and then we'll go. So I'll be sure we're going to start you off with the NFC Championship recap. The 49ers want to win in 34-31. What's your thoughts in this recap game?
This is a game that really hurt because the Lions self-inflicted themselves this loss. It wasn't nothing San Francisco did. I think San Francisco just capped because they're a good team. San Francisco is a good team. Then they'll capitalize on your mistakes. And if you don't make any mistakes, you beat them. If you make mistakes, they're going to get back into the game. And as much as people are talking about Dan's going for it on fourth down, I'm just going to go on record saying the first fourth down was fine. I think he should have went for it. But the second fourth down, he should have kicked that damn field goal to tie the game. I don't know what the hell was going through his head at that time, but he should have kicked to stop the bleeding because, they still were in the game. They still had a chance to win this game, but you got to kick that field goal to tie the game up and make San Francisco work for the win. And they didn't do that. So that kind of disappointed me, but it seems like nobody – third quarters have been very bad for the Lions this whole season. They haven't gotten anything off. I don't know what goes on through their mind if they have a mental lapse through that whole quarter, but it seems like it's like, let's not even play. We'll play 3 out of 4 quarters. How about that? And if we win, we win. But, yeah, it was I was so hopeful at halftime. I saw that score 24-7. I was watching the game. I was like, man, if they go to the Super Bowl, I was like, I was like, I watched it with one of my partners and stuff, and he was like, yeah, we doing this, man. We getting there. And then I had to mention, then I think I cursed myself, though. I think I cursed him by saying that. I remember this is almost the same score that San Francisco had back in '57 when we had a championship. It was like 27-7 or 24-7, something like that. And the Lions were down by that much, and they came back and won the game. See, I should never said that shit.
All right, David, what's your recap on this game?
So my recap of the game was that the problem is yes, the third quarter Blues definitely came back and they bit us in the butt. But for me, what really bugged me was that we came out and, analysts had said it all week is that the Lions were coming into this game against the 49ers and they don't have any pressure on them. They're playing with house money. The 49ers are the heavily favored team. They were 7-point favorites in that game. So it's like, listen, nobody's counting on the Lions to win. So the Lions are coming in, they're playing with house money, and they came out and they did exactly that. They're like, listen, we don't give a crap what anyone says. We're going to come out and we're going to play our style of football. Hence the reason why we got up to a 24-7 halftime lead, because we played our style of football. And I think that style of football surprised the ever-living hell out of the 49ers because they're looking around and they're like, what the hell? Who are these guys? We haven't seen them play like this all year in the first half. And then we get to halftime. And I don't know if the Lions just decided to go into a hibernation state, but when they came back out, it was like all the good that they had done in that first half, they completely did a 180 and decided to go the opposite direction. And it was from the people that had been the most reliable, consistent players we had all freaking year that were screwing up. You have Jahmyr Gibbs giving up a fumble inside of the 25-yard line. Had not fumbled up to that point. So it's like the one time I do not want you to fumble in the most biggest game that we've had all year, you screwed a pooch, number one. Number two, Josh Reynolds, known as the freaking the Viper or whatever freaking Dan Campbell wants to call him, has been one of the most reliable targets for Jared Goff. Drops 2 very crucial passes, one on 4th and 2 and the other on a 3rd and 7. Both of them hit him in the hands. It's like, dude, I've seen him make much more difficult catches than that, and those were clearly easy, and he drops them like they're freaking hot potatoes. And it's like, dude, that kills us. And then again, I know that there are people out there that have, because I made a video of this on my own personal channel talking about how the Lions really screwed themselves over, because I agree with my compatriot. The Lions didn't lose to the 49ers. The Lions lost themselves. The Lions lost to themselves because we kept shooting ourselves in the foot. Because the way I look at it is this. We were still in that game going into the fourth quarter because at the end of the third quarter, we were tied. So it's like, okay, you know what? You screw yourself over in the third quarter, but hey, fourth quarter, we've always found a way to try and put something together to win. And it's like, when we had a chance to do it, like he said, that second fourth down in the fourth quarter when we should have taken the points, at that point you could have tied the game, played for overtime because we got the touchdown to J-Mo at the very end. So it's like, okay, now you're not trying to put all your hopes and dreams on onside kicks, which have almost been universally a bad thing to try and convert because they almost never work in the current NFL now. So for me, it was like the Lions outplayed, outcoached, outthought themselves the entire second half, and that was what screwed us over. Dan Campbell didn't take appropriate chances when he should have taken them. We had players that were had been consistently good for us throughout the entirety of the year, make big drops and also make big bad plays in the biggest game. So for me, it was like, you know what? The Lions proved that they can play with the big dogs. Now it's like, okay, you cannot do those little errors and expect to get away with it. You can't do that on a conference championship game, and you sure as hell can't do it on a Super Bowl stage if that's what you're planning on doing.
Exactly.
All right, Monkey.
I think the Lions were too confident after the first half, and it got in their heads, at least for the younger players. But
I would say probably more so for C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Well, but they had that game and they pissed it away. It was pretty upsetting. I was rooting for the Lions. I have been. And it was just sad to see them lose like that. They had everyone thinking they were going to win at the end of that first half. The NFL script said otherwise, I guess.
Well, if you go with the scripted argument, the Ravens should have gotten to because of the freaking logo.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. As for me, I was shocked, man. I was gonna go after the first play, they scored. I think the Lions, they already cooking, and then they job back down to the deep 3 and out, quick 3 and out. They back score again. They go 24-7. I'm like, okay, they might got this in the bag. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna lie. So I take a quick nap. I woke back up. I see the 49ers now at least. I'm like, what? So I had to look to find highlights of what happened prior to that. I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on? So I'm screaming. I got to the point where I saw with Bishop. I agree with Bishop about the first or fourth down. You wait for it. I get it. Kudos. I get it. But in the second one, I really question that. I really think they really should have kicked that field goal and forced overtime, man. Instead of trying, but I think Dan Campbell was trying to just want to hit the home run and finish the game. I think that's what it more likely really was, and they just shot away from themselves. I feel like complacency got in the way in the second half. I think they got too complacent after which I did in the first half. We got complacency, and then mistakes started happening, and the 49ers capitalized on it. I do agree with you both. I think I beat yourselves in that one, man. It really was tough. And I don't blame Jared Goff for wanting to go for it either in that moment. They just want to hit the home run, but at the same time, man, not in these type of games, man. I would have rather have forced overtime, man, than do what I did. But like I said, I did have one hell of a season, man. It was just sad to end that way, especially having a lead like that and then losing it. Like I said, sometimes it's not about how you start the game, it's how you finish it. And you damn sure to make sure that didn't happen that game. So that was really bad to see. All right, Rob, what's your thoughts on this game?
The Lions didn't stick to what was working in the first half, running the ball, and I think they only ran the ball like 8 times in the second half. They tried to go to the pass game, and I don't blame Dan Campbell for going for it on fourth down, because if you convert, you get 7.
Well, that's the intention.
I think he was trying to hit the home run.
I don't think they ran. I don't think they ran him as much in the second half because of the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs fumbled the ball, and in fact, I don't think I saw him for the next couple of series. They had Montgomery in there. I think they sat him down to calm him down. I think that's what it was, and then after that, like I said, normal things that happen didn't happen in that game. Like Josh Reynolds is a very reliable receiver, and like David was saying, he's a reliable receiver, and he dropped 2 crucial passes. The defense didn't stop. I mean, the reason why I said the first fourth down was a good call by DC is because, hey, you're 4th and 2. You're on the San Francisco 28. You have a 75% chance of making a fourth down with that measurement of first down to go. It was a high percentage play. Josh Reynolds just messed it up.
Oh,
But I
another
think
thing is Cam Sutton blew like 2 coverages.
Let's
Cam
not get
Sutton-
into the defense because I could roast Aaron Glenn for days.
Yeah, the defense.
No, I'm just,
and I really don't think in this game it was really Aaron Glenn's defense, because I think he was playing really good defense and the players were where they're supposed to be at. But it's like in the second half they lost track of things. They couldn't tackle, and CJ talking all that big money stuff about Debo. Dude, learn how to tackle first before you start talking mess about people. He pissed me off that game. You up here talking all that mess. You drew a penalty, which your coach told you not to do, a really stupid penalty. Then you went out there and you can't make a tackle. What the hell's wrong with you?
Well,
and in the defense,
if not that, Nick Vildor having a football thrown right into his face and dropping it.
Right. Or not even, or just letting it fall to the ground, period. And then the fact is, like I said, that fourth down wasn't crucial because they had a 14-point lead. Dan Campbell saw San Francisco coming out the gate hot and ready to go in the third quarter, and they were able to get the field goal on their first possession. So Dan Campbell's theory was, look, we stopped them out of the first half. We only gave them a field goal when they came out the gates. Let's go ahead and go for the fourth down, put a foot on their neck, and the game will be over. Josh Reynolds didn't do his job as a receiver. He didn't catch the ball, so that messed that up. But on the flip side of that, okay, so we got a 14-point lead. Our defense will stop them because they've been doing that the whole game. Nope, that didn't happen either. So it was a conclave of problems that we're having. The Detroit Lions were having in that third quarter, and it is what it is. Super Bowl or bust next year, though. I guarantee you that.
Y'all overachieved, though. Y'all did. Y'all had a great season.
I was mad about that game. I want the Lions to win so bad.
Yeah, me too. But that was unfortunate. But such is life. Let's go ahead and move on to Monkey Trivia number 1.
Alrighty, who is the oldest player to ever appear on a Super Bowl roster?
Was it Tom Brady?
No.
George Blanda.
Nope.
Peyton Manning?
Nope.
It's probably
Willie Williams.
No, it was a quarterback.
Oh, it's a quarterback. Oh.
Peyton Manning?
No, it's not Peyton Manning.
What team?
Y'all giving it away.
What century? This century or last?
It had to be
I'll tell
last
you
century.
what Super Bowl it was. It was Super Bowl 33.
Yeah, it's
Super
last
Bowl what?
century.
Doug
Peterson?
33. Favre?
Doug Peterson is Brett Favre's backup?
Nope.
Not Favre.
Doug Flutie.
Frank Wright.
Damn.
Negative.
Damn.
I didn't even remember who
How about
played
I ask
for
this?
what
Is this a well-known quarterback?
I mean, I know who he is.
that helps.
Oh, yeah, because you got the question, dude.
Kansas City Chiefs fans know who he is.
So it was Denver versus Atlanta. John Elway? No.
It's not Elway.
It was the
Denver
Atlanta
versus
quarterback. Atlanta's got to be a quarterback. It was
he a backup or a starter?
I never said he was a starter. I just said he appeared.
It has to be a backup because the Denver versus Atlanta game featured Steve Chandler against John Elway.
Yeah.
Backup quarterback for the Falcons. Friggin' A. That's going back to the days of Dan Reeves right there.
Oh, you wait till the next one.
Okay, let's see. We'll do this one.
Wait a minute here.
Hey, stay off the internet, Mr. fucking Google.
I think I know who this guy is because I think he used to play for the Browns. He retired. He went and then played some golf, and then they had to fill in for some stupid thing or other. Like he was like in his late 40s. I'm trying to remember his name because I saw this on NFL Films.
45.
Was it Drew Bledsoe?
No, not Bledsoe. Bledsoe never played for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Bledsoe
I'm talking about I'm not talking about Falcons. I'm just saying in general. I thought Drew Bledsoe was a backup at one point, right?
No, not really. He started as a rookie for the Patriots, then left to go to the Bills, then left to go to the Cowboys, and by the time his career was done with the Cowboys, he just retired. He wasn't going to be a backup.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, but when Tom Brady took the job, he Bledsoe became the backup that year, and they didn't win the Super Bowl that year, did they?
I guess you could call it that. I guess you could say that it was a quarterback backup.
Oh, that's a tough one.
All right, what is it? All right, we
Kurt Warner? No, not Kurt Warner. Right?
Warner never played for the Falcons.
He didn't play for the Falcons either.
And that was way before time. That was way before his time.
Steve DeBerg.
Oh,
Steve DeBerg, yes. I remember that name.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We all out on that one. We'll try again on Monkey Shooter number 2. Right, let's get back into it. Do the Chiefs need a huge game for Patrick Mahomes to win? David, I'm going to let you guys start first.
Do they need a huge game from him to win? No, they don't. And the reason I'm going to say this is very, very simple. The Chiefs are playing against the 49ers. First and foremost, take a look at the Chiefs' record against the 49ers over the last freaking 6, 7 something years. I think the Chiefs have only lost against the 49ers one damn time. So it's like, do you have to have a big game from Mahomes? No, I don't think so. But then let's also think about this as well. I know this is going to sound like a little bit ridiculous for some people, but did or did not the Ravens beat the 49ers in the regular season? And did or did not did the Chiefs just beat the freaking Ravens at their home field? So it's like, wait a minute. Mahomes didn't have to have a big game to beat the Ravens defense, and the Ravens defense is better than the 49ers defense because last time I checked, the Lions offense pretty much ran over them the entirety of the first half. The team before that, the 49ers had problems with, and at the very end of the regular season, the 49ers defense was having problems too. So it's like, does Mahomes have to have a big game? No. But would it definitely help? Abso-freaking-lutely. I think more so what's going to happen is the Chiefs defense is going to have to find a way to stop that three-headed monster of freaking Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuel, and freaking Christian McCaffrey. Plus, also don't sleep on Ayuk.
I'm telling you, I've been saying that forever. But to answer the question, no, I think the defense does because like I said the three-headed monster, that offense itself. Can they stop that offense? Can the Chiefs defense do enough to stop that up? I think they mean more the big game. Patrick Mahomes like this postseason didn't have really big games, big performances in these wins. You found a way to win, but he is the key to helping them win. I will say that though. But huge game, no. Out there, he just play the way he plays. The defense got to step up in a big major way. I think it's more the defense to help. Because I feel like defense win game, offense sell tickets. Defense win championship, offense sell tickets. That's just my thing. Mm-hmm. So I just don't think that when he have a big game, it would be even more of a problem for the 49ers if he does. But no reality, no, not really, not at all. Be sure though, what you got?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm on David's same mind frame here. The offense, I don't have any problem with Kansas City's offense, just like I didn't have any problem with the Lions' offense. Even though the Lions were having problems in that whole second half, they were still moving down the field pretty methodically. So the defense for San Francisco is not impressive at all. In fact, San Francisco came out there and said that they were embarrassed about their performance against the Lions. I think that was just a shade at the Lions because, nobody expects the Lions to do anything on defense. But they were having the same problem with Green Bay. So and Green Bay almost won that game. So you got to look at it like this. Everybody's running through that defense right now. And no, Mahomes don't have to win the game. You just give it to Pacheco. Keep running the ball. Run right up the middle, right in the middle of that defense that everybody says is so great. They just run that ball because we were having so much of a time running that ball. We had like 182 yards rushing on that defense. So if they can get Pacheco to get going, I think Hilaire is going to be back in. They can do a 1-2 punch with them and some nice little passes by Mahomes just to keep him honest. I'm sure Kelsey will probably get wide open again because nobody knows how to cover him. So, I mean, as long as they do it, the defense is just what needs to come play. They do need to stop San Francisco's offense. They do have a pretty good offense and not let Brock Purdy run around like fucking Lamar Jackson like they did against the Lions. Jesus.
I think I've seen a statistic line. I'm not really sure if where I saw that, but I think they said in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes touchdown to interception ratio ain't great. He's 5 before in the touchdown to interception ratio in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, and they still found ways to win. He won 2, lost 1. Mm-hmm. So that just goes to show no, not really. But Robbie, what you got?
I agree with David. I agree, Dave.
All right.
He took everything I was going to say.
Simplicity at its finest.
All right, Kevin, what you got?
I think it is more the game. You need a big game from Pacheco because Pacheco will keep that dangerous Niners offense off the field.
Yeah.
But it's taking a note. The last time these two teams met, Kansas City blew them out the water in San Francisco.
Yeah. And,
I think they beat them like 45-23.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think so.
And the Niners team, it's not that much. That Niners team was not that much different from this team.
Just run the ball in San Francisco. That's all you got to do. Run the ball. Establish the run. Do a couple gadget run plays like that, like the Lions did. You'll be good to go. I mean, 182 yards they put up in that game. And then the game before that, when Green Bay played them, Green Bay got, let me see, Green Bay got 136 rushing yards. So they gave up a total of almost 350 yards in the last two playoff games. Playoff games now.
I'll tell you what.
We're not talking about regular season. Playoff games.
The Packers surprised me in the playoffs.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, they surprised the hell out of me. I was like, damn.
I mean, they surprised the hell out of me, but you want to know what team didn't surprise me? The Cowboys.
I think you speak for everybody. I think you speak for everybody on that one.
They did
one and done.
They did what I expected them to do.
Right.
The two teams that I think surprised the most in bad ways was the Cowboys and the Browns, because I thought the Browns were going to have a much better game against the Texans, and the Texans literally spanked their ass. Right. When you lose 45-14, you lose 45-14 in a playoff game. I'm sorry. At that point, it's like you didn't show up. You did not show up at all.
Well, Flacco didn't show up in the second half. You can't throw 2 pick sixes and get away with a win.
Yeah, you can't. One is okay, maybe, but 2? Nah.
Yeah.
Still, the Texans, they came in and they were a hungry team. They were hungrier.
Yeah. Shut down that defensive player of the year. The whole game. He had 2 penalties. That entire game, he did nothing. Your defensive player of the year.
And we'll get to that in a little while, too.
Matter of fact, we can say that right now. Let's move to our next topic. Did the committee get the awards right?
Hell fucking no.
Hell no. Man, where do I start?
No. You got Dave the swearing, so you know he was real venomous about that.
I'm sorry, but
no, you're good.
Let's just back this train up here.
Go ahead, David.
The biggest travesty for me last night was the NFL Head Coach of the Year award, because I'm sorry, even though I'm a Lions fan and I thought Dan Campbell should win it, the guy that should have won it was D'Amico fucking Ryans.
Yeah.
You literally go from being a number 2 overall draft pick the previous year before, and you not only get that team to a playoff, but win a playoff game. How in the hell does he not win it, but Kevin Stefanski wins it because, I held the team together because we had 30-plus injuries? Time up, back up. You deal with injuries every year, so what makes you so special?
Mm-hmm.
It's an entirely different thing when you can say, my team was so bad, we held the number 2 and number 3 overall draft pick in the previous draft, and I went and freaking got my team to a playoff berth and won a playoff game. Like, that to me is a much more significant accomplishment. And then again, let's take a look at the Lions. We got to the playoffs, won our first division crown in 30 years, won 2 straight playoff games. Yet somehow Kevin Stefanski, even though his team didn't win the division, the Ravens did. They finished second. Then you get your ass spanked on national television against the Texans. Somehow, because you held your team together through a whole myriad of injuries, you're the one that wins the Head Coach of the Year award. Bullshit.
All right, so for me, I agree with him there. I feel like he should either been Dan Campbell or D'Amico Ryans, but I want to lean more towards D'Amico Ryans. But I think one of the two should have done. But I kind of understand in a way. You go through all that adversity and Cleveland, he still found a way to make a great run and make the playoff spot. I can understand, but they got spanked. That's why I say I wish the award show would bleed into the postseason or after the season is completely over. Then do this is why I say that. And for a lot of these awards, but another one that pissed me off was Defensive Player of the Year. But I'm gonna talk about that later. I'm not even gonna get to that right now because I got something later on for that. So, but I think they got that wrong. Comeback Player of the Year. I think Joe Flacco should have won that. I think I actually was okay with that. CJ Stroud, I was okay with that as well. If not him, I think Paul Kanuka. I think his name right. Should have won that, but if not, I feel like CJ. I think CJ locked it up after that one performance. He had like 5 TDs that game. I think he locked it up after that. What else we got? We got Offensive Player of the Year. That was CMC, deserving. So MVP, obviously Lamar Jackson. I don't agree, but it's a quarterback league, and they're always going to throw the MVP to the quarterback every single time.
I'm not really
surprised. Be surprised with that. What else? What am I missing? Defensive rookie of the year. William Anderson Jr. I liked him, and I also liked Jalen Carter for Philadelphia. We got a great season as well. Joe Porter, shout out to him being the finalist, but he had a lot of work to do. He still did great. He still had a lot of work to do. But I think
Will Anderson came out in the second half, and that's the reason why he got the award.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what's he missing? Coach of the year. And outside of that, I think Walter Payton Man of the Year, Cam Hayward deservedly so. So as far as that,
Assistant coach of the year.
Assistant
coach of the year. I think Jim Schwartz deserved that.
Jim Schwartz? Oh yeah, that's another one. But other than that, they got it wrong. They got some of them wrong, but not all of them.
Just on that note right there, Jim Schwartz winning an assistant coach of the year is the reason why Stefanski won coach of the year. Because if it wasn't for Jim Schwartz coming in there and nailing down that defense, it was the number one defense for the longest time in the NFL, I think all the way up to week 17. Week 17. If it wasn't for that, that team would have been way worse than they were. And he came in there and did it. So basically, he won that award for Stefanski.
The way I look at it is I would have preferred Ben Johnson winning it, but I can't really argue with Jim Schwartz because that defense was good. But I will say this. The other award that I really didn't agree with was the Comeback Player of the Year award. And here's the reason why. Okay, I get it. Joe Flacco, he had a great last 2 months of the season when he got off the couch. But it's like, okay, here, if you want to talk about somebody who is a Comeback Player of the Year, they have to have been crap the previous year before, either due to injury or how they played. And then they have to come back and they have to be better than they were the previous year. Joe Flacco was a backup. It wasn't because he wasn't good or he wasn't able this. He just wasn't able to get on the field. So for me, the person that should have won the award that finished third in the voting was Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield last year, he played on 3 separate teams. He played for the Rams. He played for the Panthers. And then after that, he got signed by the Bucs in the offseason. So whatever. And then he comes out, takes the Bucs, wins another division title with them, wins a playoff game, and has one of his better statistical years. How the hell does he not win it over Joe Flacco?
I agree. I like that. I actually like that point. I wasn't even thinking about it like that, but I actually like that point. I like that. Kevin, what you got? They get it right?
I think it was a bunch of bullshit.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. The NFL Honors Awards ceremony is almost getting to be freaking like the Pro Bowl. It's becoming a joke and a popularity contest is really what it's turning into.
Yep.
Go ahead, Kevin.
That's exactly it. I didn't even watch it. I really don't even care about the awards.
All right, Robbie, what you got?
Hey, look at it like this. Technically, our running back won the MVP award this year.
Technically.
And
I mean, you're not wrong.
TJ Watt, that did not surprise me, him losing. Baker Mayfield, that surprised me. He should have been Comeback Player of the Year. Coach of the Year should have been D'Amico Ryans or Campbell. If I had to take a guess, it seems like PFF had a lot of influence in this because then a lot of Browns coaches win awards.
They took them all.
I think the PFF didn't have anything to do with it because if the PFF
I'm not saying they had anything,
they would have won.
I'm just saying
the ones that were mentioned should have won these awards.
I'm just saying.
I don't think that people are looking at stats; they're looking at popularity, and that's BS. This is not the Pro Bowl. This is an MVP. This is league honors.
I'm just saying. It seems like it seems like PFF had a lot of influence. I'm not saying that
they did. TJ Watt would be defensive player of the year right now, so I'm not. I don't
right.
So.
Here's my biggest problem with the award ceremonies now is that everybody knows how the award ceremonies are conducted. They're based upon the Associated Press opinion writers. Here's the reason why I have a problem with that. You're talking about opinion writers who have no correlation or very little correlation to do with the NFL. But wait a minute here. These are awards that are being handed out to the NFL players. Time out. Why don't we have somebody that actually works in the NFL come up with a panel of unanimous people every year, every couple of years, and say, hey, you're going to be the people that are going to be voting on the award. So that way it's like, listen, from a jury of your peers, people that have actually worked opposite of you, worked with you, whatever the case is, that way it's a more respectable voting process rather than, oh, well, we like the feel-good story and the narratives and it's much more popular, so that way this person wins it versus someone that's more deserving. That's me stupid. It's like That's why I like the only awards thing that I realistically think still has any merit is the top 100 list that comes out just before the season. Because at that point, it's players voting on themselves. They're saying, oh, this player, I like his game. I think he deserves a spot. That I can get with.
But I will say this, the wrong running back won the MVP.
Yeah, CMC should have won.
Okay,
Yeah, I
Rob,
agree.
you
I
get
agree.
it.
All right, let's get ready to, and like I said, I'll get into defensive player of the year conversation later on in the show. Trust me. So that's why I didn't get into that right now.
I had to add that.
All right, y'all, let's get right to Monkey
say
Trivia number 2.
All right, Monkey, what you got, buddy?
Hold on 1 second.
One
I was
Mississippi.
dealing with my
Dogs.
son.
Oh.
Apparently, they decided to come home. Okay, so what 2 teams are tied for the most Super Bowl losses with 5?
Vikings have got to be one of them.
Broncos.
They got 4.
Broncos are
Vikings got 4.
one.
Broncos one of them.
Broncos are 1.
Broncos are one. Not the
Patriots?
No, not the Patriots.
Patriots.
Yeah,
Patriots.
they are. Yeah, they are.
Patriots.
Yeah,
Yep.
they've been to several. They've been like 10
They've
of
been
them.
100
Is it
I know
games.
they lost one against. I know they lost one against the Bears.
Yeah.
They
I know they
lost
lost
to
at
the
least
Giants
2.
twice.
I know they lost at least
Giants
2
twice.
against the Giants.
Yep.
So that's 3.
And lost the Eagles. And the Eagles.
And the
They
Eagles.
lost
so
against
that's 4.
Chicago. They lost against Chicago way back in the
84.
84. Yep. And then Green Bay beat them.
That's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
Green Bay. That's back when
Yep.
Drew Bledsoe was the starter. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's get it. All right, we
I was like, wait a minute here.
Yeah, I was
Like,
like-
they've won so much. How do they lose 5?
Yeah, they win it there a lot. All right, let's go ahead and move on with our next topic of the day. All right, y'all. Can the 49ers defense stop Patrick Mahomes? Monkey.
Yeah, they can stop him. I mean, I never count out Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be more or less the Chiefs need to rely on Pacheco more than Mahomes. Because if Mahomes is able to throw the ball and keep moving the ball down the field, and then, they have the break or bend don't break policy where they just, hold them up to a field goal, it's going to bite them in the ass, leaving all that time on the clock.
All right, Robbie.
I don't even think this is going to be a close game. I think the Chiefs are going to blow them out.
That's an interesting assumption.
That's wow. I don't know if I see a blow up.
They didn't last time they played in San Francisco. They didn't stop Mahomes.
I'm just going to say this. There's a reason why the Super Bowl typically gets the kind of coverage that it does is because it's supposed to be a competition between the two supposed, I put heavy quotation marks on that, supposed best teams in the NFL. I will say this, we have had much more evidence of games being close than we've had of blowouts in Super Bowls. Now, I will say this, the one thing I do not under any circumstance want to see for a Super Bowl is another Rams versus Patriots Super Bowl back in 2018. I do not want to see that. That was a boring Super Bowl.
The worst Super Bowl I've seen.
Now, the best Super Bowl I've ever seen as far as edge of your seat, wondering what's going to happen, Patriots versus Panthers Super Bowl. That was constant back and forth. You didn't know who the hell was going to win it until the last minute. That's what a Super Bowl is supposed to be. And I'll be honest, we really haven't had a Super Bowl like that for a while. I mean, the Chiefs versus Eagles last year, that was pretty good, but it was pretty obvious the Chiefs were going to win it.
Playoff game's been closer.
That was a
Playoff
bullshit
game's been
call
more
at the end.
interesting.
All right, so David, let's answer the question. Can the 49ers stop the Patrick on defense?
How am I going to say this? Can they stop Patrick Mahomes? Yes, they can. Will they? That's a different story. Because the way I look at it is, how do I put this? Did the 49ers defense stop Jared Goff? No.
Nope.
Jared Goff beat Patrick Mahomes in the very first week of the season. So it's like, listen, can the 49ers defense stop Patrick Mahomes? Yes, they can. The question is, will they? Everybody, I'm the biggest Jared Goff fan in the world. Everyone knows this. But it's like, okay, if you can't stop Jared Goff, what in the hell makes you think you're going to stop Patrick Mahomes?
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff played a clean, efficient game against one of the better defenses in the NFL. And Jared Goff is not the most fleet of foot, and he does not have Patrick Mahomes' arm abilities. But yet Jared Goff was able to make sure that the defense didn't impact him. So it's like, if you can't stop Jared Goff, who I consider a top 10 quarterback, versus the guy who I consider the best quarterback in the NFL, you got your hands full.
Mm-hmm.
I feel agree on this one. Can you? Yeah. Will you? Another story. It's easier said than done. I feel like the longer Patrick Mahomes on the field, the more dangerous he becomes. You don't get that man off the field, especially on 3 and outs, and he can keep driving and driving on you. The difficult they become. So Ken is an opportunity. Yeah, obviously you got an opportunity to do so, but will you? Is this team good enough to stop what he is? And like I said, Jared Goff got better talent, a wide receiver core, than the Kansas City Chiefs. He couldn't stop that. He struggled with that. So you got Patrick Mahomes, the one we believe is the best in football with the lesser talent. Yeah, you got your hands full, man. So can you? Yes, but will you? Different story. So we'll just have to see. Be sure what you got.
Hell no, they can't stop it. They can't stop Mahomes. They can't stop Goff. And David stole my point right there. If you can't stop Goff, you ain't gonna definitely stop Mahomes. And to Kevin's point as well, run the ball right up the middle on them. Do a couple of gadget plays to the outside because they can't stop to run on the outside either. They proved that time and time again. Defensively, the 49ers suck. They suck.
Right now
they are bad right now. No, they're bad in the playoffs, and that's the worst time for your defense to be bad is in the playoffs. So,
I agree. Again, this is the time of year because what are we? If you technically count all the weeks, this is what, week 22, week 23, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's like by this point in the year, you should have everything locked down, nailed down tight. But yet this is the time of the year where the 49ers defense is unraveling like a yarn of spool. Mm-hmm. And it's just like just like this is not the time where you should be having these kinds of problems. And for me, I'm going to say this right now. I attribute it to the fact that DeMeco Ryans is no longer the defensive coordinator there. It's now Steve Wilks. And let's understand something here. Wilks, he's been a decent defensive coordinator, but there's a reason why he's bounced around the league the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's the point that people don't see either. The coaching is key in these situations.
And one last point.
Yeah, plus the Niners lost one of the – keep going.
Arguably the best defense in football this year couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes and the Baltimore Ravens. Couldn't stop him.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is not
they sure tried, though.
They tried, and they did credit for it, but they couldn't even do it when it mattered the most. So can the 49ers, like I said, Ken is an opportunity.
Plus, they're missing their starting strong safety, that Taluna.
Yeah, but they're still playing pretty good without him. And they're about to bench Chase Young too. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a trade. That's a trade right now that looks like it was a bunch of wasted draft picks.
Yeah.
And I remember when Lions fans were like, "Trade for Chase Young." Yeah, what's he doing right now? Riding the pine.
I didn't want Chase Young. I wanted the other.
Didn't they say they're about to bench him?
Yeah, they're going to bench him. He probably not going to play this game.
That's a rumor.
And the Chiefs
I bet you he'll play.
Same thing with Tony.
He'll play.
Aren't you glad your team's didn't trade for him?
I want Montez Sweat.
I'm glad.
I'm gonna say this right now. I just hope that when the offseason comes, we get somebody opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, either through the draft or free agency. That's what I want, along with a good number one corner, because we haven't had one since Slay was here.
Right.
So, and it's not an outside corner. He's the inside. He's a nickel guy.
Yeah.
Sutton is at best a good number 2. He is
Yeah,
not a number 1.
I don't agree with
Because
that.
when Sutton was out there in Pittsburgh, he did well. When he was
Yeah,
out there,
he wasn't a number one though.
He
that's my whole point.
Yeah.
We brought him in to be the number 1. He proved he couldn't be the number 1. Number 2, he can be. We need a number 1, which is why I'm hoping we can get somebody like maybe Jalen Johnson, maybe L'Jarius Sneed, or maybe we trade up and maybe go after Kool-Aid McKinstry. That'd be nice.
I don't like taking cornerbacks in the top.
Neither
in the first round,
but it's like desperate times call for desperate measures. I know the Judah effect is still in effect.
I'd rather give up a pick for a corner. That's proven.
You got to take in the note when Sutton was here, made him look better than what he is.
Well, all right, so we're going to move on with our next topic in the show. All right, y'all. We actually just kind of talked about this with the last topic. Should the NFL awards be held after the Super Bowl? I agree. Yes, I think it should. Man, proven point. Like I said, because when you look at, I don't want to go to this. I'm trying to wait. When you look at the Defensive Player of the Year category and who won, when you watch that playoff game, he did absolutely, positively nothing. He was shut down by left tackle by Jeremy the entire game. Like he did nothing. Like I just like these awards should wait until after the Super Bowl. I really think they should, man. I think it should affect the postseason as well, man. I really, really do. So yes, I think so. Bishop, what you got?
Yeah, most definitely they should after. I mean, if you really want to know what a honoree or a football player that is going to win MVP or offensive player, you gotta go through the progression of the playoffs because those are when your players shine. So if you're in a category, you're going to be stepping up to the plate. If you're not stepping up to the plate, Lamar Jackson, then your ass shouldn't be winning MVP. Okay, so I mean, you come out there and you throw a dud in one of your division, your playoff games, which is more important than any of the regular season games. Yeah, you could play really good, Dak Prescott, in the whole regular season and just screw it up in the playoffs. This is the problem that I have with the voting. They should do it after everything. I don't understand why they have to do it after the season. Season stats don't mean shit unless you get in the playoffs. If you're in the playoffs, you know, that's what everybody's fighting for. You get in the playoffs, win the Super Bowl. So that's when players step up. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel they should be done after the after the Super Bowl.
All right, Robbie.
Yeah, I agree. It should be even the Pro Bowl where they played dodgeball should be after the Super Bowl.
Right.
All right, David, what you got?
Well, the last two kind of hit on it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of piggyback off of it because here's the way I look at it. If you're having an award ceremony, the award ceremony should be based upon the total body of work. Now, for some people, that is just the regular season. Okay, fine. That's what you have to work with. But if you're talking about the award ceremony going to the best players, typically 9 times out of 10, the best players are going to be in the playoffs. Yes or no? Yeah. So if they're in the playoffs, you should include what they're doing in the playoffs as part of the reason why someone should or should not get the award. Because to me, it's like, okay, here, case in point, there were, again, I'm just going to use this as an example. Peyton Manning was my favorite quarterback, won 4 MVPs, but there were a couple of times, I specifically remember one season where he had a statistically bad year, but yet he still won the MVP award in comparison to somebody else. Drew Brees, who threw 5,000 plus yards multiple years, never won a damn MVP award. How does that happen? So it's like, to me, it's like you should include the award ceremony after the season is done. So that way you have the entire body of work to look at before you do the voting process.
I agree.
It's the same thing with the Pro Bowl, because to me, you have people that are getting into the Pro Bowl, and the reason why they're getting in is because people are saying, no, I don't want to go to the Pro Bowl because I want to make sure I'm in the Super Bowl, or I want to do this or that and something else. And it's like, listen, at that point, you're doing a disservice to the fans because the Pro Bowl should be for the best players to play against one another. But yet, first and foremost, the Pro Bowl hasn't been that way in fucking 20 years. But then on top of that, we're now having freaking dodgeball and sled pushes and all this in flag football. It's like, that's not football. That's freaking tiddlywinks.
You know, they need to go get Vince Vaughn for the dodgeball competition as a referee.
There you go.
What was
All right, Monkey.
remember that movie Dodgeball? I can't remember his name in there.
All right, Monkey, go
ahead. Yeah, I think it's more. I look at it as a distraction, to be honest with you. I mean, you got. I agree. Most of your best players will be in the playoffs, but
they should be.
Yeah, they should be. But you know, there's players like Barry Sanders that never really had a chance like that, and other players as well. But I think the award ceremony is taking their mind off the main goal. I mean, yeah, I know they don't let it. They say that it doesn't mean much to them, but it does, because that goes right onto your fucking resume on how much your next fucking contract is going to be. Or even if you get to stay on that team or not.
Damn, Skippy.
All right, y'all. We're going to move on with our next topic within the show. All right, y'all. If Patrick Mahomes wins his 3rd Super Bowl, is he the best quarterback in football? I'm going to go and start off first. I think he's already the best quarterback right now in football right now. I think he already is right now. But yes, this is right. Just don't. If he does, this is just the icing on the cake. But I already believe he's already the best quarterback in football as of right now. So it's not an easy card or even complex to even answer. I think he is right now. But if he was, just another icing on the cake. That'd be 3 Super Bowls in 6 years. Be sure.
Oh yeah, he's the best quarterback right now, whether he wins his 3rd or not. He's just the best quarterback. Period. I couldn't put nobody above him right now. So yeah, I agree with you.
Robbie?
He's already the best quarterback. Best quarterback in history or best quarterback right now?
In the NFL.
Right now.
Right, actively playing.
Yeah.
I already say he's the best quarterback right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, David.
So I'm going to agree with all of you, but I'm going to take it again a little bit further because anybody who's watched me knows that I like to expunge a little bit. But here's the way I look at it. Ever since this guy came into the NFL as a starter, correct me if I'm not, but the man always gets to the conference championship game every stinking freaking year. So first and foremost, this guy has never, ever once known anything else except getting to a conference championship game or Super Bowl. Not even Tom Brady can say that, number one. Number two, let's think about this here. Patrick Mahomes, again, to go back to what I said earlier, he has gotten to a Super Bowl with arguably the worst supporting cast he has ever had in his entire career. And he has won against some pretty superior opponents in games that he should not have won. So it's like, okay, here. Now you're going in, you're playing against San Francisco, you're playing against guys like Bosa, you're playing against guys like freaking Greenlaw, you're playing against guys that are all over this defense that are big name players. Now, whether or not they play on a big time stage, we don't know. We're waiting for that to happen until tomorrow. But my whole point is this. If Patrick Mahomes is able and goes and wins his third Super Bowl in 4 years, it's like, okay, here, let's think about this. Not a lot of quarterbacks can say, hey, over a 4-year span, I won 3 Super Bowls. There's not a lot that can say that. I know Tom Brady can say that. I know that freaking Terry Bradshaw could say that. I know that Joe Montana can say that. Oh, gee, all those guys are Hall of Famers. Kind of speaks for itself as far as the evidence is concerned.
Everybody pretty much agrees on that. That's that monkey.
Oh, no, everything was already said. You know, he's already the best quarterback in the league. I mean, who can say otherwise? And if I swear to God, I see one Ravens fan jump in the comments and say Lamar Jackson, I'm booting them out.
Oh, and I wish they would.
I am booting them out.
I wish they would.
In their teeth.
I
will buy a plane ticket to go wherever they are and kick them in their teeth.
Hey, I wish they would. You know what I'm gonna say? If you took Patrick Mahomes off this Patrick Mahomes team core and put Lamar Jackson as replacement, will Lamar Jackson get Super Bowl with this team right here? This Patrick Mahomes team. No,
he can't get into the Super Bowl. He can't get into the Super Bowl with the teams he's gotten.
So conversation is over.
This is the best team he's had, and he couldn't get to the Super Bowl. So
most of the
and here's the thing. I'm just going to say this right now because I know that there are some people here that have some very heavy anti-sentimental value towards Ravens fans. First and foremost, we don't know if the Ravens are going to get back OBJ. Chances are probably not. Number two, there's now a chance that Zay Flowers could be going to jail because of being a dumbass. Yeah, then on top of that, we already know this as well. Oh, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I want the big contract. I want the big money. Fine, you got your money. But now, how are you going to be able to pay for everybody else to be able to get theirs? You're not, because your contract value goes up exponentially over the next couple of years. And the salary cap is not going to go up that much more exponentially in comparison to your value as far as contract. Because I've taken a look at his contract. I think, what is it? If it's not next year or the year after that, he is going to start taking up almost 20 to 25% of the team's cap space. You can't win that way. So it's like, yeah, Lamar, great. You got your own. Too bad your team's not going to get anything, and too bad you're not going to win much more.
Hey, before we move on, I got a bonus question for you, David, because I like the way you flow with your takes. Would it be wrong for the Ravens to ask Lamar Jackson to take a pay cut right now to help that? Would it be dishonest?
Would it be wrong? No, it wouldn't be, because here's the thing. I go back to this always. What is football? Football is a team sport. There is no I in team. And it's like, listen, Lamar Jackson, correct me if I'm wrong here. What did he say the night he got drafted? I'm going to bring championships to this team. I'm going to bring a Super Bowl to this team. So wait a minute here. You're saying you want to bring a Super Bowl to this team. Last time I checked here, you're not going to be bringing anything to freaking Baltimore except misery if all you're doing is draining their bank accounts. And if you keep draining their bank accounts the way you're doing, you ain't going to win jack shit.
Right.
So it's like, at this point, it's like you have to take a look at the rest of the team. The team is clearly not going to get much better than what it is right now, because you had a team that was literally loaded with talent on both offense and defensive side of the ball. You're about to lose some of that offensive talent due to contract and potentially legal problems. So it's like, okay, here. Now you're going to have a whole bunch of issues. Does that mean he's not a team player? Okay, let me ask this question here. What was it? A year or two ago, he had an injury that he could have come back and played through, but he decided to sit on the sideline and nurse the injury. Is that or is that not a team player? Because let me see here. I remember Brett Favre playing through a crap ton of injuries because he didn't want to let his team down. I've seen other quarterbacks that have played through injury because they didn't want to let their team down. What makes Lamar Jackson so damn special? That's my whole point here. It's like Lamar Jackson should realize that as the leader, sometimes you have to sacrifice. Why was Tom Brady so good? Because he routinely took less money. The quarterbacks that want all the damn money in the world, fine, you got your own. But now you're not going to be able to let your team get the rest so that way you can freaking win. And that's the problem with Lamar Jackson. He feels like he has to justify being whatever in his own little world.
And to answer your question, Jacob, yeah, it's good to say that, but you have to do that. You have to do what you say. And if you sit there and you say, I'm going to win a championship or a Super Bowl in 5 years, this is year 7 now. He hasn't won.
And so has a 2-5 playoff record.
I don't like when players start talking like that because then you're putting your foot in your mouth and you're making yourself looking like an ass because you haven't accomplished what the hell you said you were going to accomplish. And then don't turn around and blame the team for it, okay? Because that would be his next step. I'm blaming the team. No, you don't do that because you were the one that said you're going to win a Super Bowl in 5 years.
Well, here's the thing about it that I have an issue with is that Lamar Jackson and I would just say all of his fanatics want to say that he's the best quarterback in the NFL here. Okay, wait a minute here. Back up here. Let me ask this question. What are other quarterbacks that have gotten to a Super Bowl or have won a Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson that they would say are not as good as him? Jared Goff, Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, Nick Foles. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The only one that has gotten there that people would say doesn't necessarily pose a threat or is better would be Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. But yet it's like, wait a minute. Jared Goff got to a Super Bowl. Granted, he lost. Joe Burrow got to a Super Bowl. Granted, he lost. Matthew Stafford, hey, he got to a Super Bowl and won. Jalen Hurts got to a Super Bowl and lost. So it's like, wait a minute here. What are all they doing that is different than what Lamar Jackson is doing? They're being freaking leaders, not Lamar Jackson. He is being a selfish little brat.
All right, we're going to move on before we be on Lamar Jackson topic the rest of the damn show. All right,
yeah,
so
Lamar
Jackson
Jackson is
trivia
number 3.
That was
Trust me,
intense.
I have a lot of animosity when it comes to Lamar.
I believe it.
Yeah.
That was intense.
You're going to fit right along with this group.
All right, Robbie. Not Robbie, but Monkey. Trivia number 3.
Let's say I'll do the trivia.
What was the biggest blowout in Super Bowl history?
Wasn't that the Seattle and Broncos game? It was like
If it wasn't that one, it was the Denver and 49ers game.
Yep.
That one.
There you go.
That one, Denver got absolutely destroyed by Montana.
What score was that?
55-10.
Oh,
yeah.
dang.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, that was John Elway's third Super Bowl loss.
And wasn't that Joe Montana? No, it was
Joe Montana.
It was Joe Montana.
Because that Super Bowl was when Joe Montana was wearing the elbow pad. That's the only time I've ever seen him wear an elbow pad.
And I know Denver. I know the reason why, and this is the reason why Denver, as an organization, changed.
Whoa, Jacob, back the hell up there! You're going to start trying to blame the Ravens organization? One of the best organizations in the NFL.
Hey, we done moved on from that. We're gonna be all day. Go ahead, Bichette.
Let it go. Let it go.
So I was a Broncos fan earlier in the 90s, late 80s, because I like John Elway. John Elway is the man to me. And he didn't have a running game. The Sammy Winder was not a running game. Okay, that's equivalent to having any of us go out there and rush for him.
What year was that Super Bowl?
Oh, 80. Was it 80?
I think it was 88, 89, something like that.
It was 1990.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah,
That's close.
Because then they lost the Super Bowl.
It was the 89-90 season. Let's put it that way.
There you
go.
I
know they lost the Super Bowl to Washington. They got beat by Washington. I think it was the year before, and Washington beat the hell out of them that year. And then they played a Super Bowl after that, and they got creamed more than that one. So they didn't have a running game. John Elway and John Elway was like Patrick Mahomes in that situation. He didn't have any receivers. And he had receivers, but he didn't have receivers. It was John Elway winning those games for them. It wasn't nobody else. So when you put that on the stage in the Super Bowl and everybody else can cash in on, you know what? Don't worry about nobody else on the field but John Elway. Get his ass. And that's what San Francisco and Washington and Giants did to him in those years that he was there before he got a running game. So, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they got their ass.
All right, let's go move on to our next topic in the show. All right, y'all. Kittle or Kelsey, who has the better game? I'm gonna go first, and then I'll select after that. I think it's gonna be Travis Kelsey. When you look at it, between the difference between these two, I see one that's consistent and one that's inconsistent. 1 minute, Kelsey, or not Kelsey, but Kittle will have a big game here, and then not so much big game there. He's more of your blocking tight end than anything out of those two guys. But when you look at Travis Kelsey, he's consistent, especially in the postseason. He's a consistent guy, so I think it's gonna be him to have the better game in this matchup. Bishop, what you got?
Man, you know how I feel about Kittle, so you know I ain't gonna choose him. Kelsey, I definitely want. It was like I don't know how the hell that man gets open. That's a big dude, and he still gets open. I mean, open like there's nobody around him for 15 yards surrounding. I'm like, damn, how you missing this guy coming up? How you missing him? He can't be that good of a route runner. I call that the
Andy Reid effect.
Yeah, like, damn, it's like, he's the only. I mean, if you look at it, like we've been saying, he is the only threat on that field that can get something done beside Rashid Rice, and Rashid Rice comes up as a backup playmaker. Basically, Kelsey is the guy. Kelsey is the one Patrick Mahomes is looking for most of the time. And you notice, and you're a defense, and you still let that motherfucker get 15 yards off of you. What the hell, man? It's for every team I see him play. It's like, dude, nobody's covering this guy? What the fuck? But,
hey, Robbie.
Kelsey's going to get a lot of attention, but I'm still going to go with them because the Ravens had #1 defense and they couldn't shut him down.
All right, David.
He made Kyle Hamilton look stupid.
Kyle Hamilton did have a good game though, for the most part. Like that man was making tackles left and right. But I'm actually going to go opposite of everybody. I'm going to say Kittle's going to have a bigger game, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. It's not because I think Kittle's better than Kelsey, because I don't. I just think of it from this perspective: is that when you think about it, the 49ers. And again, I'm playing this a little bit based off of my team's experience against the 49ers just a week ago. When the 49ers played us, you had to cover Laporta, you had to cover St. Brown, you had to cover Reynolds, you had to cover J-Mo, you had to cover all those options. That's a very, very stressful thing to do on a defense because the more options you have to cover, the more it stretches a defense out. Well, as you guys all just stated, Travis Kelsey is #1 option for Patrick Mahomes. So it's like, okay, here. We know Greenlaw is good in coverage. We know that they have a good safety group. So it's like, okay, here. Do I expect Travis Kelsey to get his? Yes, I surely do. But it's like, then you flip on the opposite side and you go to the 49ers. You have CMC, you have Ayuk, you have Debo, you have Kittle. And again, Brock Purdy, if he wants to make his legacy, he is going to have to show up, and he's going to have to show up well, which means he has to use the options that are available to him. And one thing I know about quarterbacks is tight ends are usually security blankets. So for me, it's like, listen, I expect the 49ers, they're going to put a lot of attention on Kelsey. I still expect him to get his own. But I think because of all the weapons that the 49ers have, it's going to give a little bit more options for Kittle. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. I like that. Actually, like it. Not bad. All right, Monkey.
I think Kelsey's going to have the better game only because
better
Patrick
quarterback
Mahomes really doesn't have anyone else to throw it to him. Or throw it to, because you got Rice. I understand that, and he is definitely going to be a great player as long as he stays healthy. But outside of that, who's going to catch the ball? It's going to be Kelsey.
The backfield.
Oh, Pacheco catch out the backfield.
Again, the way I look at it is I can see both sides of this argument.
Right.
I really can.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see Kittle getting it only because the simple fact of the matter is they may have to rely on Kittle more often than not in the game if they can't get separation with anybody else, which I highly doubt that's actually even going to happen. I don't see the Chiefs being able to slow down Debo. I just don't. And CMC is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He is the one who should have won MVP.
We all agree. All right. So Dave, I know you want to get into that Lamar Jackson conversation, so I'm not going to give you opportunity to get into that. I'll let you go first with this next topic. All right, y'all. So, what is holding the Ravens back from getting to the Super Bowl? I'm gonna let you go first.
This is easy because it's like, okay, here, let's understand something. Is it the organization? No, it's not. You've had the same head coach that you've had for years. The Ravens, ever since they came back to Baltimore and they actually had a team there in the late 1990s, early 2000s, they've been one of the best organizations there. So it's not an organizational problem. It's not like the Lions of the last 30 years that couldn't figure out how to get an organization to work for hell. So it's not that. Okay, is it talent? Is your defense having problems? No, the Ravens consistently have some of the best defenses year in, year out. It's been that way for decades. Okay, so now we have to look at one other thing here. What's going on with the offense? I find this kind of interesting. How is it that Joe Flacco's bum ass can win a Super Bowl with the Ravens, but yet Lamar Jackson and all the God-given talent that he supposedly has as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever don the freaking field can't win one with a defense that is equal value to what the freaking Ravens had back when Joe Flacco was playing? I mean, I get it. There's no Ray Lewis. There's no Terrell Suggs, but that defense was still fucking pretty damn good. So it's like, okay, here, you still have the same head coach because Harbaugh was there when Joe Flacco won. So it's the same head coach, same organization, same kind of defense that you're running. So what the hell's the problem here? What's different? Oh, you have a different kind of game. You have a different kind of quarterback. You have a different kind of leadership as far as your players are concerned. Joe Flacco, yeah, after he got his money, the Ravens never got back to the Super Bowl. Isn't that a coinky-dink? Now, how after Lamar Jackson got his money, I don't see that they're going to be getting to a Super Bowl either. Granted, they never got to a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson anyway. So for me, the thing that's holding the Ravens back is the fact that Lamar Jackson has not progressed as a quarterback. He is a talented player, not a talented quarterback, but at the same time, he now has all this money, and I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be given any rebates.
Hey, man, I think you took the majority of all the words out of my mouth. I think it is the quarterback position. I think they're trying to force Lamar Jackson to be something he is not. He's not a passer. He's talented quarterback. I don't think he's a talented quarterback, man. And I think he wins with his legs. Trying to make him win with his arm. Has he progressed with it a lot better in recent years? Yeah, he got a little better with it, but that's not his game. It's not his MO. And I think that's what it is. So I really, really feel like it's the quarterback position.
For me,
and the way they got to play in it.
The best way I can describe Lamar Jackson is he is a souped-up version of both Cordell Stewart and freaking Cam Newton put together.
Oh
my God!
Ouch.
Oh my God!
Because think about it. Hold on here. For the Steelers fans, go back to Cordell Stewart. He was known as Slash. The guy could do damn near everything, but nothing really well. What was Cam Newton for? He was known more for running and a little bit of passing. That's my whole point. He's a souped-up version of that. He can pass better than both of them, but what does he do that is really special? His ability to run.
He got better with his arm. Yeah, he got better. But that's not his MO, not his game. He wins with his legs, not his arm. And I think that's what a lot of people took wrong a couple of weeks back when Ben said people fear his legs more than his arm and took it the wrong way. No, it wasn't that. It was like he wins, his bread and butter is winning off his legs, never with his arm. How many times have you seen Lamar Jackson? I think you see Lamar Jackson win more with his legs than he did with his arms. I think that's the point of Ben was making. Everybody thought that he was bashing him, saying nobody feared his arm. No, to be honest, no one does fear your arm. They fear your legs because you're talented with those. You're very talented. But I think
well, think about it. Every press conference prior to the Ravens playing, what is the very first question that any defensive coordinator gets asked? How are you going to contain Lamar Jackson? Not how are you going to stop his passing ability? How are you going to contain him and keep him in the pockets so that way he doesn't run all over your ass?
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. That's how he gets open, or that's how he gets his passing yards. Is he'll scramble, and everyone will be like, "Oh, we're gonna have to move up on him, so he don't kill us out with his fucking legs," and then he'll dink and dunk it down the field with Andrews all day long.
No, Steelers laid the blueprint out how to beat Lamar. Make them go east to west instead of north to south.
All day. All right, be sure what you got.
So let me point a point, part A to this question. Okay. So, do you think that teams were correct in labeling Lamar Jackson as a receiver or a running back instead of a quarterback?
Well, I haven't seen Lamar's ability to receive a pass, but I have seen him run.
I don't know. He's had 11 fumbles this season.
If it's any consolation to Raven fans, he's the best running back in the NFL.
Here's the way I look at it. I know that we give Lamar Jackson a lot of flack about being a running back. But I'm going to say this. Lamar Jackson throws a ball better than just about any running back in the NFL. So I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But it's like, listen. But I'll be like, listen, let's understand something here. Lamar Jackson is never, ever, ever going to win if he just continues to run around and dance. Because we have seen quarterbacks in the past that have done that. I'm going to just ask this right now. Here's a trivia question for you. Name one quarterback that was a pure scrambling quarterback that has won a Super Bowl. I'll wait. Name one.
None.
Exactly. Michael Vick couldn't do it. Lamar Jackson, I don't think, is going to do it.
Unless
None
you
of them have
consider-
done it.
Unless you consider, hold up. Do you consider Russell Wilson
No.
that type of
No,
quarterback?
no.
Russell Wilson is more well, let's understand something here.
He was
Pre-Denver, he was more deadly with his arm.
Yeah.
Because that's what Russell Wilson would do. He would dance around in a pocket, but he would only run when he had to. That's not Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, if he feels a danger or he feels like, hey, you know what? I'm about to get sacked. He's just off and running. He's not trying to find someone down the field. He's gotten better, but that's still his bread and butter. That's still his MO. If I'm in danger, I'm off and I'm running. And it's like, listen, that's fine and all in college, but there's a reason why it doesn't work in the NFL. These guys are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. You're going to get broke like a damn twig.
All right, Bisha, go ahead and finish off your question. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that what's holding back the Ravens is their utilization of Lamar. I think they're going to have to stick to a certain game plan. I think offensive coordinators are struggling to figure out how to use his athletic tendencies, and Lamar is not exactly being the best follower of that situation either. So, I mean, to Jacob, to your point that we give QBs praise when they win, and that's just how we do the league. I don't consider that. I usually say everything's a team sport, but you do have players in positions that are important that if they fail in that position, it's going to bring down the whole rest of the team. And I think Lamar, it's kind of the same mojo that Dallas has. And I don't really want to put Dallas and the Ravens in the same category because the Ravens have won a couple of Super Bowls in this century. But
sure in the same fucking boat.
Dallas has a problem getting over the hump in the playoffs lately. They can't win their first game in the playoffs, and they have a spectacular season. They've been in a play. They've had 12-5 seasons, and they've lost in the first round every one of those seasons in the playoffs. It's the same thing with the Ravens.
Lesser superior opponents.
And the Ravens are the same way. It seems like they get to the point in the playoffs and then they just bow out. Like the year that he had an MVP, didn't they go out the first round against the Titans, who were weren't hardly any superior to the Ravens. The Ravens were the better team, but they lost to them. So it's a coaching factor too. I think really Jim Harbaugh's time is up.
John Harbaugh.
Jim just got hired by the Chargers.
John.
Yeah, each one. John is having a hard time with Baltimore. I think his coaching is starting to become out of style. I think he's still trying to hold it down, but I think it's time for a change in Baltimore to a new head coach, to tell you the truth. I think they're doing a lot, and they're not getting anything accomplished.
All right, Robbie?
Were we still in the Ravens?
Yeah, we are.
They need a quarterback.
Damn.
They ain't get one. Not with a $255 million contract sitting on his lap.
They need Lamar Jackson to prove he can win games with his
Deshaun.
arms. Of course, Raven fans will blame the play call before they blame Lamar.
Let me ask this: if he wins this game and makes the Super Bowl, would any of this change? If he could, sure, it would change, because if you win a Super Bowl, that's the biggest kind of like FU to everybody in the world.
Yeah,
Right.
Think about this way: name every quarterback that was told they couldn't get over the hump, and then once they finally got over the hump, their haters had to shut up. Peyton Manning. Everyone said great regular season quarterback, can't win in the postseason. Then when he won a Super Bowl, everybody had to shut up. John Elway. Oh, he can get to the Super Bowl, but he can't win any games in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Once he won one, everybody had to shut up. The Super Bowl is the biggest silencer to critics that there is. But that's the problem. That's not what Lamar does. When he gets into the playoffs, he falls apart. I'm telling you this right now. Just humor me this after the show. Go to StatMuse and take a look at Lamar Jackson's passing statistics in every single playoff game that he has. You want to know what his touchdown interception ratio is? It's 6-6. It's a 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. NFL quarterbacks are pretty much required now to have a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. His passing statistics in the playoffs go through the damn toilet when he gets there. And you cannot win in the postseason if you can't throw. It's a proven fact.
Right.
So again, to answer your question, if Lamar Jackson would have won this game, gotten to the Super Bowl and won it, yeah, it would change it. But that's the problem. That's not the reality of the situation. If is a damn big word that ain't got a whole lot of meaning.
All right, Monkey. Got to finish it up with the last answer to this question.
I mean, do you want the comical answer or do you want the straightforward answer? I mean,
Whatever answer you want to give.
Right.
Right.
Whatever answer you want to give.
Well, like I said, when you guys first posted this, is they need to get a quarterback and have Lamar play running back.
There you go.
I mean, think about it on a serious note. If you move Lamar to a running back position, you toss do a halfback toss play, he can throw it down the goddamn field, and you know he can do it.
I like that, but he's not the biggest quarterback, big player out there. He gonna get 8. He is a small man. And going to come to actually,
I know he also has a fumbling issue.
Exactly. I don't think that's gonna work out for him. I think, like I said, David said earlier, I think he's a talented player, but I don't think he's a talented quarterback.
He's a great athlete. Great athlete.
Great athlete.
Decent to good quarterback.
I mean, yeah. Tell him to stop running.
He won't make it as a running back. He won't. I don't know.
Tell him stop running.
He doesn't need to stop running.
Don't run.
Don't run. He needs to prove. No, he needs to prove that if he is prevented from running, he can still play quarterback.
That's what he needs to do. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they tried that in the AFC Championship game. They tried to lead toward his arm, and look what happened.
Well, he was behind the ball in the first place. Usually, most quarterbacks fold under that pressure. Now most quarterbacks usually fold under that pressure. He don't lead the league in comebacks. That's for damn sure. So.
At all. All right, Charles, we're going to move on with our next topic. All right, we're going to get right into Jaguar for the week. I'm glad to be doing this again. It's been a while since I did it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get my Jaguar week first, and then I'll let everybody else chime in if they got one as well. All right, John. So what I got videos. So I got 11-second video, and then I got a 1 minute exchange video. We'll play 11-second video first. Before he played the video, I want to tell you who my Jaguar of the week is. My Jaguar of the week is Kadarius Toney. He was on I think that was the Super Bowl press conference thing, and I think Mark Robinson talked to him and asked him a question. Let's listen to the question and then the answer. 11-second video.
Your number one receiver in this league? Yeah, if I get it, if I get the ball, you gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. You know I had to ask, man. Last one.
He acts like he don't even believe it.
That was Patricia. That was Patricia, not Kadarius Toney.
What? I'm like, what? And they throw you the ball? Have they not thrown you the ball before? Matter of fact, I don't even got to sit here and waste my time. Let's play the minute video. Let's play it.
Your number one receiver in this league? Yeah, if I get it, if I get the ball,
So this is 3rd and 6.
I get the ball,
Get out the deflection.
I get the ball,
right through the hands of Toney.
Line all the time.
I get the ball, I get the ball,
But his field goal range, Mahomes, plenty of time, looking in the middle.
I get the ball,
By Toney.
I get the ball,
When you have a bad night.
Hope to have him back next week. Here's a 2nd and 12.
I get the ball,
Talked about the drops.
You said it.
New England game. It's a 17-point lead.
I get the ball,
Kadarius Toney straight drop. And it didn't even have the decency.
I get the ball,
Pops in the air, and it's a turnover to the Patriots. And
Who flings it back over to Toney. This is going for a touchdown.
some of the old porn music going on here.
Is that not Patrick Mahomes giving you opportunity at catching the ball? Is that not?
Yep.
Am I missing something?
It looks
If
like
they give you the ball, this is why they won't give you the ball. This is why. It's why you been bitch when and everything saying you was hurt. We know you wasn't hurt. You just terrible. Your hands hurt. You got butterfingers. That's what that is. You can't catch a cold.
Instead of Kadarius Toney, they should call him Kadarius Stoney.
That's right.
And that is my jack of the week. Kadarius Toney. All right, do anybody got a jack for the week?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
I got Micah Parsons for Jag-Off of the Week.
Mm.
And the reason I say this is because he was ranking his top 5 rushers, right? He left TJ Watt out. That's quote me. That's not the reason why. But he said when you comparing players, you got to stop looking at the stats, right? And then today he says you have to look at the stats, and that's the reason why he left TJ Watt out of his top 5 edge rushers.
Hypocrite
make
much?
no damn sense. Right.
Does that make any sense? He said
It don't make no sense.
He left TJ Watt out, and he said when you compare players, you got to leave the stats out. And then 24 hours later, he says you have to look at the stats.
His stats was better than yours. What are you talking about?
I used to like Micah, but now he's becoming like an asshole.
And
he's got his own podcast show. Now he thinks he's all that and a bunch of chips.
Oh,
Man,
and then he says the
He's a
end of the
Dallas
interview.
diva.
He says that at the end of the interview, stats don't lie.
Let's look at him because he blows you out the water.
Yeah,
right.
So I don't know what we talking about.
Yeah, but that's my jag-off of the week. I had no problem with them
I be sure you got one
until then.
No, but I like Robbie's though. Robbie's was
Monkey, you
one I
got a
was
jag of the week?
I agree with you too, and I'll throw Aaron Jacobs from Home Field Advantage in there for quitting like a little bitch. All because his team lost.
Lamar's the best. Quit
And
talking about
can't
him.
handle the backfire because all the shit he was talking all season long, sounding like a Dallas fucking Cowboys fan.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Fucking no, not allowed.
All right, David, you knew this, but do you have a jag for the week?
I mean, if I had to choose one, I would probably go with Roger Goodell.
Of course, I'll choose him every week.
Yeah, but the funny part about it is Roger Goodell almost every year finds some way to make himself look like a bigger one, because the thing about it that always pisses me off about him, and this is true because of the fact of when it comes to refereeing and officiating, like every stinking year, that guy always gets up at these forums and talks to these fans that are like, oh, well, we're having issues with officiating. We think that things are scripted. We think this isn't fair, blah, 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 blah. And every time he gets up in front of them and he says the exact same thing, I think our NFL officiating is the best in the world, or I think it's the best that it's ever been. And it's like, dude, either you got the thickest freaking pair of rose-colored glasses in the world, or you are blinder than freaking Ray Charles and Ronnie Millsap combined.
Nah, he just doesn't watch.
Yeah.
Or he chooses not to.
Right. Just collect that check. That's all you do. I thank y'all for participating in the Jag of the Week. Now it's time for our next segment. A new segment, actually. I brought the table called Let Me Explain. So, David, you knew this. So what I like to do, I like to explain my reason for why I feel about a certain player. Last week, or the week before, I did Patrick Mahomes, why I feel like he's the best quarterback in football. So I'll do my take on that, and then y'all can chime in right after I'm done with it. All right, y'all. So let's get right to Let Me Explain. I can finally talk about it now. I want to explain why TJ Watt keep getting rigged for Defensive Player of the Year. So I got some pictures. I want to put up this most recent one, Myles Garrett and TJ Watt's stats performance. Let's go put this up. All right, y'all. So here's right here. Can we move that ticker out the way? This right here is statistical stats for 2023 for Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. Now you can clearly see that TJ Watt is clearly blowing him out of water. Clearly. I think the only thing they got him over, I believe, was
nothing.
Tackles for long run plays, and they tied for strip sacks. But other than that, TJ Watt blows him out of the water. But it still gives it to Myles Garrett. And I don't understand why. My thing with this is that, like, I don't understand what TJ Watt needs to do. Needs to prove that why he's the best of the best. Now listen to this now, y'all. Listen to this now. This is how I knew they was going to give this to Myles Garrett. I think the reason why overall, I'm gonna give an overall reason why, but this is my point on why. Listen to this, y'all. NFL Fox NFL Network gave T.J. Watt Defensive Player of the Year. All right, CBS Sports gave T.J. Watt Defensive Player of the Year. NFL Network gave T.J. Watt Defensive Player of the Year. NFLnetwork.com gave T.J. Watt Defensive Player of the Year. And last but not least, the AFC Defensive Player of the Year was awarded to T.J. Watt. You want to know who else is in the AFC? Myles Garrett. How do you give T.J. Watt those many awards outside of the AP, but don't give him the AP award? And you give it to Myles Garrett, who had lesser stats. But I think the overall reason why they really gave it to Myles Garrett was because he led the number one defense at that time. His statistical stats was put up with the best defense in football at that time. And I think that's the real reason why they gave that to him. And also that one performance where he had a sack and he fumbled. I think he blocked the field goal or something like that in that game as well. So I feel like that's the overall reason why I feel like they gave that to him. But let me go a little more further of these robberies. Let's go to the 2020 year when it was T.J. Watt versus Aaron Donald. Can you put it up real quick? You can clearly see T.J. Watt blows him out of the water other than the forced fumble category. Other than that, and they still get it to Aaron Donald. And y'all want to know why they get it to Aaron Donald? Because they felt like he was triple team more than T.J. Watt, and he still put up those numbers. And you know what's crazy about this? T.J. Watt missed one game and still led in every major category, and they still gave it to Aaron Donald. The reason why I feel like they're robbing him, because I really feel like they don't want him to capture to his brother. I feel like right now he should have 3. And if I really wanted to be a homer and go further, I would even go to the Stephon Gilmore's Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like T.J. Watt should have won that year. But I feel like I let Gilmore slide on that one because he was shut down elite receivers. I think he had like 7 interceptions that year, and he was shut down your top receivers that year. So I kind of understand why they gave it to him. So I'll let that be. But 3 out of the last 4, T.J. Watt should have definitely won. And I don't understand why he keep getting ignored like this. He can't play like this. I don't think. But you know, it is what it is. T.J. Watt, even tweeted after being snubbed, is nothing I'm used to. It happens every single time, and I'm done with it. I feel like Myles Garrett does not deserve to win Defensive Player this year at all. Go back to what Michael Parsons said. Look at the stats. Look at them. Clear as day. T.J. dominates in every category, but like I said, because they had no one defense, his stats was led with no one defense, exactly what I give to him. But when you look at that playoff game, what did he do? I think T.J. Watt's stats was better than his in the playoff game, and T.J. Watt didn't even play. The only negative niche on Myles Garrett, he had 2 offside penalties in that game. I think 1 QB pressure the entire game, but did absolutely positively nothing. This is why I feel like the war should be bleeding to after the postseason, like we just finished talking about. But this is why I feel like T.J. Watt keep getting blamed, keep getting robbed because they don't want to capture his brother or outdo his brother in any form or fashion. And what I think J.J. Watt's still a great, he'll be Hall of Famer one day. And also with T.J. Watt, but I think T.J. Watt got robbed once again, and he shouldn't have. And I'm done.
Feel better?
No, not at all. Not at all.
My man.
Anything y'all want to say regarding this?
Yeah, I think the committee is a bunch of idiots. That's all. They don't look at stats. Like I said, it's been a popularity contest. That's all it is. And so to a comment I just put up there from my boy Rumble, it doesn't make a difference if you want. Myles had a good year. Yes, he did. I'm not taking that away from him. But no, he wasn't better than T.J. Watt. Sorry. Not at all. Not statistically. Not. How many sacks did T.J. Watt had? How many sacks did T.J. Watt have against Buffalo?
Buffalo? Which one? The playoff game?
Yeah, the playoff game.
Oh, 0.
Watt didn't play.
Oh, that's right. Watt didn't play that game.
He played 0. He didn't play.
But in a game that you see, especially with Pittsburgh having their struggles on offense this year, if you let T.J. Watt loose, it's basically over with. I've seen him. He's a game changer. He's like Aaron Donald in the middle of it as a defensive tackle. He's a game changer. He can change the game automatically. He's done that at least 3 or 4 times this year. So I don't understand why they didn't.
And one thing I don't understand with it is that the defense player of the year is the individual goal, not what you do with your team. This is the individual stat award. So why are we basing it on because he had done one DV, his stats was no one. That makes no fucking sense at all to me. I don't understand it. I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all.
You know what?
Individual is what you do as a player. It's an individual, not a team award like the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is a team award. MVPs individually. This I don't understand. I don't.
Hey, maybe if TJ Watt started whacking people in the heads with helmets, he would have won it.
What else? What else do he need to do?
Maybe
He put up the numbers
they're
year in,
trying to
year out.
give. Maybe they're trying to give Cleveland, like I heard this one post, maybe they're trying to give Cleveland some relevancy because they haven't been shit, so they're trying to give them relevancy.
When you talk about game changer, without TJ Watt, we 1-11. Without him, game changer.
Cleveland been doing anything to get publicity.
And you got to look at it like this too. That's without having somebody on the edge. Wasn't Cam Hayward out for some games this year?
He was like 8 games, 10 games.
Yeah. So you're gotta, if you're focusing on TJ Watt and he's still getting to your quarterback or still making plays, that tells you what kind of player that is. I don't give a damn if Miles has been triple teamed, quadruple teamed. I don't give a damn. If you can't get through that, he was now that Houston game. He might have been doubled a couple times. He was on Tooney. Tooney is an all-pro tackle. Okay, Tooney will get you. But if you can't beat an all-pro tackle, you suck.
Right.
I'm just saying.
TJ Watt made history. That's crazy. The only one with 3 sack titles. The only one. Because they're making history. I just don't understand it, man. I'm sorry.
Comparatively, you put it like this. Hutchinson. I got to bring up Hutchinson. Hutchinson did that against the Dallas's one of their best tackles, one of the best tackles in the league, in Smith, and he got like a couple of sacks on him, and he's not even the player TJ Watt is yet, not even. So if he could do that, and Myles Garrett's having trouble with Tooney, what the hell? I don't understand the whole situation. It's
and what's crazy?
Remember,
I feel like it's a pattern though. Remember. Let's say the Gilmore defensive player, I understand why he got it. So I wasn't really trying to argue that because you're arguing the defensive player, linebacker, corner. So obviously the linebacker, of course, going to do more to him. But like I said, I think Gilmore got it for a good reason. But when you look at the Arizona one, I feel like he was robbed. He was robbed. What happened? He breaks the record, he top straight hand record. He wins defensive player of the year. Now this year, he put great stats. He loses it. Watch next year, he wins defensive player of the year. Calling it right now. TJ Watt wins it. Let's go to
maybe that stupid Keebler Elf had influence in it.
I'll go move to Monkey Trivia number 4.
What player lost 5 Super Bowls in a row?
A row?
In a row. There was a player who played on 5.
Oh, 5.
5 consecutive.
Ooh. They lost 5.
This has to be a Buffalo.
It's got to be a Buffalo.
He did play for Buffalo Bills. He played for Buffalo Bills, and he also played for the Chargers the following year.
Frank Wright?
No, but he was a backup quarterback, and you'll never guess it.
Probably not.
Doug Flutie.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't Jim Kelly.
It wasn't Jim Kelly.
Jim Kelly. Who was the backup quarterback? It wasn't Frank Reich, was it? No, it wasn't Frank Reich.
Well, you have to think about it here. Understand the nature of the question. If it's a former Buffalo Bill player and they lost 5 Super Bowls, so either that means that they have to be on the Buffalo Bills team and then on the Chargers team that was the next year, or who was the loser of the Super Bowl prior to Bills? So they'd either have to have been a Bengals player and then lost 4 on the Bills, or they had to have been on the Bills for 4 straight and then lost with the Chargers.
Yeah.
It was 4 with the Bills and 1 with the Chargers.
Yeah. So
I can't even remember who the starting quarterback was for the Chargers in that game.
Me neither.
I don't either. It wasn't it. Well,
I just know that was the Super Bowl. Young got the monkey off his back.
Dan Fouts.
Is he a known player?
Wasn't Dan Fouts when they
Fouts retired in the 80s?
Yeah, he was gone way before that.
Damn.
So 90.
That has to be a backup quarterback.
Jim Harbaugh. Wasn't it Jim Harbaugh?
No.
Harbaugh was later.
Or
Stan Humphries.
What? I forgot all about that, dude.
Wasn't he the Chargers quarterback in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, as I recall, yeah, because that's when they had what's the running back? That bomb ass running back they had at that time too. Nacho Means. Wasn't it Nacho Means that was their running back at that Super Bowl?
Was that the Eric Bieniemy on the team too, with the Chargers?
Yeah. Eric Bieniemy might have been playing then too. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh wow.
But I'm just gonna give it to you because you guys ain't gonna be able to guess it.
Yeah,
It was
probably not.
Gail Gilbert.
I would never guess. I would never guess.
Never.
Never guessed that.
Never.
Moving
GG.
on without,
It was a Super Bowl trivia question. I was like, fuck it, why not?
all right, John Ken Kyle Shanahan out with Andy Reid. Be sure.
Well, offensively, maybe. I don't know about defensively, but they should be. I mean, they're compatible offensively, I think. So I think that the Wits, as far as outdueling the defenses, I think they're both going to be successful in this game. So I would say I wouldn't say outwit, but maybe on the same page as Andy Reid. I mean, they're equal. I think they're going to have defenses. Both defenses still ain't the greatest. They're statistically great, but they're not the greatest defenses. So I would think both of them are going to have a pretty good game.
All right, Robbie.
Hell no.
I love the simplicity.
Hell no.
To answer this question, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't think so. Hey, David, go ahead.
Well, let me just put it to you this way. Kyle Shanahan, while he has been great with the San Francisco 49ers and he has become one of the best head coaches in the NFL, let's understand something here. When it comes to one of the best head coaches of all time, not the best, I'm saying one of the best, Andy Reid's in that category because you have to understand something here. He was a great head coach with the Philadelphia Eagles and has now become a better head coach with the freaking Chiefs. Because you have to think about it. He took the Chiefs to Super Bowls and won with them. He took the Eagles to Super Bowls. Granted, didn't win any of them, but he did take them to a Super Bowl. So it's like, listen, you take a look at all the experience that Andy Reid has as a head coach. He not only makes Kyle Shanahan look like a dwarf from a size perspective, but also from an experience perspective.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Monkey.
Does he really have to? I mean, can he? Maybe, but highly doubtful. Andy Reid's been around too long. There's too much education. Bless you. And but when it all comes down to it, it's the players on the field that are going to win the game.
But really, is this question kind of like, will Patrick Mahomes beat Brock Purdy? They don't play each other. And I don't think Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid aren't coaching against. I mean, they're coaching against each other, but they're coaching against respective defenses. So Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan are basically the offensive people on their team, and they're really playing against the opposition's defensive coordinator. So I don't know if you could say that either one of them are going to outwit either one of them. I think you would say they're going to outwit the defensive coordinators, which I believe they're both going to outwit the defensive coordinators because they don't have good defenses, either one of them right now. I mean, statistically, they may show that they're good defenses, but San Francisco's already showed they can't stop anybody on offense in the last two playoff games. In Kansas City, they have their problems too on offense. So they have to figure out something to get past the defense. So it's whoever's offense goes forward with the most, the most cavalier attitude. And anybody's going to be up there trying to do something. And then I would give the edge as coaching to Andy Reid, but to outwit each other, it's kind of like quarterback versus quarterback. You don't play against each other like that. You play against the opposition who you're trying to play against. So that's just my take on it.
All right, let's go to move on with our next topic. I don't know why this is even a topic, but we want to talk about it anyway. All right, just Baker to serve $40 million a year. I'm gonna go first. I'll let you know. Hell no. No, I like Baker. Baker had an amazing comeback year. That's why I agree with. I think he should have been comeback player of the year. Should have been probably the top one to win out of it if it wasn't Joe Flacco. But he's 28 years old, you guys. He's been in the league for 7 years, 8 years, man. I get it. There's no way they're paying a 28-year-old $40 a year. I'm sorry, because you won a division title with the Bucks. I mean, great story, great comeback story after what you dealt with Cleveland for your time with Cleveland, and you had some time with the Panthers and whatnot. But $40 a year, I don't think he did enough to get $40 a year. I just don't think so. So no, I don't think so.
Well-
Maybe we could argue maybe 30 with incentives is, but I just don't think 40 a year at his age. I don't know. That's just me. But be sure what you got.
It's not about if he deserves it. He's going to get that because that's what the quarterback going rate's going to be at that time. So it really doesn't have no effect on what Tampa Bay thinks what he should get or not get. That's what the going rate for a quarterback's going to be at that time. So he's going to get his $40 million. If it goes any higher, that would be anything higher than $40 million would be in question. But
What are the years though? What are the years though? What are we talking? Because it's an A year. So what is it? 2 year deal, 3 year deal, 4 year deal, 5 year deal?
I'd give him a 2 year. I'd give him a 2 year deal with last year extension, and if he does well with the last year extension, then fine. I mean, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same way that I'm viewing Goff right now. Goff is playing extremely well. I don't. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't belong in that tax bracket. Okay, it's the fact that Goff gets it done because he's got players around him, and as long as he keeps doing what he's got to do, it's the same thing with Baker. Baker's got to have the players around him to continue what he's going to do. We don't know if Mike Evans is not going to be there next year. He might not be. They're losing. They got a lot of people on free agency that they might lose next year. This coming up season. So that's a lot of things that you got to look at.
Exactly.
If they think Baker is the best person to lead them, if they don't have these certain players, then so be it. But he's going to get that $40 million. It's the point if you don't want him to go higher than $40 million. I wouldn't pay him higher no $40 million a year. Hell no. Because he's not worth 45. I don't think he's worth $41 million a year. $40 million is what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get paid. That's what you get. That's it. Period.
All right, Robbie.
What they finished? What 8-8? What was the Buccaneers record? 8-8.
9-8. There's no 8-8 anymore. Now it's
8. What were they? Were they 8-9 or not? They were 9-8, right?
9-8.
What place were they in the year before this season?
They won the division.
They won the division.
So he had a first place.
That's Tom Brady's first.
Last year, Tom Brady was the quarterback. They won the division 8-9. The year before that, they won the division as well. But it was better than that. I think they weren't. They didn't win the division the year before that. They were like 11-5 and came in second place. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Granted, he's 28, but 40 mil, one good season. Yeah, I don't think so.
But like Bishop said, if that's the market, I understand that from that aspect. But
I know I'm just saying.
Because I'm thinking about the number of years now. How many years are we talking? At his age, he'll be 29 before the season starts. So
you have to get him short-term contracts.
Like I don't know how they're going to do that.
That's what I'm saying. 3 year, a 2 year and a 3 year extension. That's all.
That's I agree with be strong.
And then if that's the case, then all right, maybe I'll pipe down a little bit, but yeah.
I agree, Brian.
I mean, in general, no, he does not deserve $40 million, but because of the market is set at that kind of a rate right now, he's going to get that. But I mean, as far as the question is, no, he does not deserve $40 million, but that's what the fuck he's going to get because that's what the market is set at, unfortunately. So, yeah,
you get paid what the market's set for, not what you do in the field.
Right, David, what you got?
So here's what I'm going to say. Do I think Baker deserves it? I'm going to agree. I don't think he deserves it, but I also agree that based upon the market being what it is, he's going to. Because let's understand something here. When it comes to the free agent market, the best players are going to define who gets paid what. Well, here's the thing. The two best quarterbacks that are going to be likely going to free agency this year or going to be considered free agents are Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield. Those are your two best options. Okay, I consider Kirk Cousins a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, but there's a problem. Kirk Cousins is also 7 years older than him. He's in his mid-30s. So it's like, okay, that's not going to work. So you take a look at Baker Mayfield. He's 28. He has played at a top level in the past, but again, it's very inconsistent. It's there 1 year, not there the next. Okay, so does he deserve the $40 million? No, he doesn't. But because the quarterback options in free agency are so limited this year, he's going to get it because what's going to happen? Two things is going to happen. One, because if there's less talent, that means that there's going to be a bidding war. And when there's a bidding war, that means a team is going to start anting up on how much money they want to give to a quarterback to potentially vie for their services. But at the same time, Baker has said he wants to go back to Tampa. Tampa has said they want to bring him back. So it's like, okay, since there's a mutual interest, they're obviously going to want to acquiesce a little bit to Baker's demands, and Baker's going to want to get paid. Every player wants to get paid. They want their slice of the pie. Now, I am going to say this. There are certain quarterbacks that the conversation of $40 or $50 million, it gets a little bit funny, a little bit screwy. Now, I know that when we talk about what contract Baker is going to get, I'm willing to bet you money. Part of that is going to go off of what Jared Goff is going to get from the Lions this year. I expect that Jared Goff is going to get a contract extension. I expect it's going to be a multi-year deal. The question is, again, how much money are you giving him per year? Because, again, if you're talking about a 4 or 5 year deal and you're splitting it up $40-50 million a year, you're talking about a $200 to $250 million contract. Okay, so then you start getting into the more specifics. How much of the money is guaranteed? How much of the money is average per year? Is it front-loaded? Is it back-loaded? How much of it is incentive-based? You start getting into all these little whirly numbers here. So for me, Baker's situation is that you don't know if he's going to be able to pull off what he did this year next year because of his track record, because of his history. To go with my Lions compatriot who brought up with Jared Goff, I at least have confidence that's going to happen. Here's the reason why I have confidence. Number one, Jared Goff's getting back his offensive coordinator for a third year in a row. The offensive coordinator that Baker Mayfield had, he just became a head coach. He just left. So now you got a different offensive coordinator. You have a different offensive scheme you got to learn. Okay, there's that. The Lions are going to bring back their starting wide receiver. Don't know about that with freaking the Bucs and Mike Evans. So that's another thing you got to consider. Then on top of that, you also have to take a look at the track records between the two different quarterbacks. Goff has been to a Super Bowl. Goff has won multiple playoff games. Goff has shown much more consistency throughout his career, being able to play at a top level. Baker Mayfield has not. So again, to answer the question, does Baker deserve $40 million a year? No, he does not. But will he get it? Abso-fucking-lutely, he'll get it.
All right, Monkey.
Question: Baker Mayfield or Dak Prescott?
That's like dude. That's like asking someone to choose between HIV and herpes. They're both lifelong diseases that are not fun.
Well, Dak is making an average $40 million a year. That's why I asked that.
Hey,
as bad as it's going to sound, I'd still take Dak over Baker Mayfield.
I'll take Dak still.
I was about to say, Dak at least consistently will do well in the regular season. The playoffs is where shit starts falling apart.
Yeah. Oh my God. You better enjoy while it lasts. Let's go back to intro.
He is the only one making $40 million a year, exactly $40 million a year in the top 10 on an average salary. That's why Dak was brought up. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And you're welcome.
All right, John. Let's go to move on with Monkey Shoe number 5, the last one of the day.
All right. What player has won 3 straight Super Bowls?
Oh, criminally.
Garrett Blunt.
Terry Bradshaw?
No, it's not Terry Bradshaw. Bradshaw did it back-to-back twice.
Is it a quarterback?
No.
Oh, 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Is it a cornerback?
He played for the Cowboys and then played for the Niners, and no, he's not a corner either.
So it's not Deion Sanders.
No, it's not Deion Sanders.
Oh, what's his name? It's that defensive lineman, Charles Haley?
No. He's a linebacker.
Oh shit!
Linebacker for the Cowboys and for the 49ers.
And San Francisco's,
Ken Norton Jr.
Yep, that'd be him.
There you go.
I was about to say, I was like, I know because I know in the late 90s, Cowboys and 49ers players were going back and forth quite a bit.
I had that on the tip of my brain, man. Good job.
All right, John. Let's go move on our next topic in the show. All right, John. But y'all go CMC. Who has the better game? David.
Who has the better game? CMC. Who needs to have the better game? Pacheco. Because it's like, dude, like I remember watching the broadcast of the 49ers and the Lions, and the analyst crew that was doing the whole game they said the same thing. It's like, listen, with CMC, it's like, listen, you can bottle him up early, But as time goes by, he's going to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and he's eventually going to bust open. He's eventually going to break it open. And it's like, listen, we already know that of the two defenses, the defense that has the worst run game right now is the freaking Chiefs, because the Chiefs have a bad run defense. They've had it all year. Now, whether or not the 49ers are going to fix their run defense in time for the Super Bowl, again, remains to be seen. But for me, it's like, I honestly think CMC is going to be the better option because, one, not only can he run, but he's a great satellite back out of the backfield as a receiving threat. So that's my personal opinion.
All right, be sure.
So, first of all, let me address this right here. This is a homer comment right here.
Got to be.
You couldn't even beat the Lions by 2 touchdowns, but you expect to beat Kansas City by 2 touchdowns. Good luck on that one.
God bless you.
I'm a big fan of Pacheco. I like CMC too. I think CMC is probably one of the better running backs in our league right now. I think both teams have problems defending the run. They really do. I think more so San Francisco than Kansas City in this effect. But I don't know. The Lions did a pretty good job on CMC. They only allowed him to have like 85 yards rushing. We haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher. So it can be done. They can stop CMC. It's just whoever is going to be the other guy. And like David alluded to earlier, it could have been, Ayuk could be the guy that breaks it open. And if they have to defend Ayuk, that means they're going to take an extra player off of CMC. I don't know. I think CMC does have the better game. I just think because he's CMC, should have been MVP. So
the best way I look at the 49ers offense is it's a pick your poison offense. You try and take something else away, something else is going to open up. That's the way their offense works, because you can't cover everything.
Right.
All right, Robbie.
I'm gonna go with Pacheco because I think the Niners defense is gonna be looking for the pass game from the Chiefs.
I'm agree with David on this one. I think who needs to have a game is Pacheco. But CMC is probably the obvious answer. Probably have the better game. He's a dual threat. He can catch in the backfield. He can run. He can pick up blocks. He can do it all. I think he even pass the ball. If I go a step farther, I think who needs to have one is Pacheco.
I want it to be different, so I went with Pacheco.
All right, Monkey.
I agree, man. It's Pacheco has to have the better game, but I think CMC will have the better game. It's just the way the offenses are built around them. Like CMC should have won MVP. He's just a phenomenal player.
You know what's so crazy about that MVP award recipient? I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's a great talent. I don't know why we're even going here, but still, if you look at his numbers, only one category ranked the top 10 out of any one of his category stats, and that was the QBR. I think he was like 7 or 8. But other than that, his passing yards wasn't even the top 10. His touchdown to interception ratio wasn't even the top 10. But CMC was number 1 in every category for running back. Everyone he's number 1 in. But that's my little slide pick on that one. We're gonna move on from
You're gonna get Raven fans to tag you in the post talking shit.
Look at the stats. Look at it. I think Lamar QBR was 3rd. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. But it is. We clearly see that. That's why T-Rock he getting robbed. We know. But anyway, we're gonna move on to our next topic. All right, was Dan Quinn smart for moving on from Eric Bieniemy? Be sure.
I hate these questions because only time will tell. Dan Quinn is more of a defensive specialist, so I don't know. I think they just sign somebody that's offensive.
Queensberry.
Queensberry. I don't know if Queensberry is a better offensive coordinator than Eric Bieniemy, but I really thought Eric Bieniemy would get the head coaching job. It sucks that he didn't, and then he doesn't have a job altogether. That just really sucks.
Hey Pittsburgh, what you do and what? I'm sorry.
He must have like a.
Somebody must have got something on his ass. They got to have something on Eric Bieniemy because there's no way he can't be getting these jobs and just not have one totally now. That's ridiculous.
He complains he's cool with being a.
He must have like a bad attitude.
I'm kind of angry that Chargers didn't get Eric Bieniemy. He would have been perfect. He was a Charger at one time. He might as well stick him on there and be an offensive coordinator. He would have helped a whole hell of a lot.
All right, Robbie. Anyway.
He must have a bad attitude or something because
I don't know.
teams do not keep him, or he interviews bad.
Yeah, something.
Something like is wrong with that situation.
For me, was it smart? Only time will tell. I'm gonna be sure. Only time will tell on as far as being smart. Man, I thought because I think it was the best of both worlds with that organization because you got one of the best offensive coordinators in Airbnb and one of the best defensive coordinators, Dan Quinn, obviously defensive-minded coach. Now he's the head coach now, so I thought that would benefit. So I thought that it would work in a way because you got two of the best of their positions. So the move him, only time will tell. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know. We'll find out. David.
So here's what I'm going to say. Again, time will tell. But here's why I'm going to add this little caveat in here. Here's the reason why. We know Washington is very, very high up in the draft this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, if you're trying to get a quarterback and you're trying to get a guy that, you're trying to get somebody in there that has a different flavor, a different vibe, something that's different than what you're looking for, then maybe bringing in Kingsbury, you're trying to potentially get a different quarterback because there are a lot of quarterbacks that are at the top end of this draft this year. And it's like, listen, I hate to put it this way because I don't really like Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is a freaking spoiled little brat. But for the 1 year or two that he was with Kingsbury, he actually looked pretty decent in Kingsbury's offense. And it's like, listen, maybe, I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where you kind of have to sit back. You kind of have to wait and wonder, okay, is this going to work or not? Because the last time we saw Kingsbury in an NFL sideline, doing his thing, it didn't end too particularly well. Now, maybe that's just because, you know what, as a head coach, that was just something that he wasn't really good, or it wasn't a good situation for him. Maybe being an offensive coordinator, being under Dan Quinn, who's had a lot more experience, has had a lot more, time in the job as a head coach and walking the sideline, maybe that'll do some wonders for him. And then again, who knows? Maybe they brought in Kingsbury because they thought maybe him and, Howell might do something together. I don't know. The only people that are going to know if it's a good idea are those that are inside the Washington Commanders organization. And I'm going to say this right now. If the indicator that I'm getting from the whole Ben Johnson interview fiasco is any precursor, I'm not too particularly confident.
Yeah, that's
Monkey.
I agree with Brian. It is too early to tell. We won't know until, they produce or fail to produce. I don't know what's going on with Eric Bieniemy. I just know that he doesn't call plays. He didn't do it in Washington either. So, I mean, it's kind of important for you to be calling plays when you're mixed up with certain kind of head coaches. You got to be able to call them offensive plays if you got a defensive-minded coach.
That's what I thought it would be great, because Dan Quinn could focus on the defensive side of it, regardless of who the defensive coordinator was. Airbnb, which we know it's been successful at his position, so that's kind of wild. But I don't know. But like I said, only time will tell. We'll find out. But let's go ahead and move with our next topic. We got Monkey's tell of the take. Go ahead, Monkey. Go ahead and take it away.
Hey, let me bring it up. Hold on.
Put it down. I'm put it down for you. All right, you go ahead.
All right. So, the Kansas City Chiefs, I think the biggest thing that needs to be focused on here would be the defense. If you look at the rushing defense, the Chiefs are better on defense all around, just flat out better. And it's the exact opposite for the San Francisco 49ers. But if you were to match them up, the Niners offense is better than the Chiefs defense. But you flip it around and look at the Kansas City's offense compared to the San Francisco defense, they seem to be better. So it's actually a pretty evenly matched up game. I don't think it will be a blowout. The Chiefs are 3-2 in the Super Bowl, and the Niners are 5-3. Even though that doesn't matter, I just figured I'd throw that little tidbit of information in there. But yeah, I think it's really going to come down to the rushing game. I don't think the quarterbacks are really going to be too much of a factor in this one.
I like the tell the tape right here. They damn near evenly matched. Yeah, one better than the other. From look at the offense and defense. So yeah, this is gonna be a good game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout either. I think it'll be a real tight game. I really think it is. I think it'll be closer than last time they met up.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is gonna be entertaining. All right, appreciate you for that tell the tape. All right, y'all, let's get to the pick'ems. The only pick'em that is here, and that is the Super Bowl. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get everybody to give me the winner, and I need you to give me the final score. Okay, so I'm gonna go first. I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game. I also have Patrick Mahomes winning his third Super Bowl MVP. Final score on this one, I don't think it's gonna be too high, but I'm gonna do 28-24, Kansas City. Be sure.
I got Kansas City 24-23.
David.
For me, I think that Kansas City is going to win, but I think what they're going to do is I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last. So, honestly, I think that it's going to be Kansas City 28-24. That's my personal thought.
All right. Thanks for with me. All right, Robbie, give me your final score. Your winner and your final score.
I said earlier, I'm going to go 28-13 Chiefs.
You heavy on that one. All right, the monkey.
I'm sorry. I want to see Brock Purdy win the Super Bowl. I would say 21-17.
Okay, all right.
And CMC the MVP.
Okay, and that includes the pick'ems. I said everybody pretty much got their Chiefs other than monkey over here. But that's okay though. And that does conclude the end of the show. I think everybody that's been on this panel, David, we appreciate you a lot, man. You've been great on the show. Hope we can do this again. So before I wrap it over, what I like to do, I'd like to give our guest 30-second shout out to whoever they want to shout out. So I'm gonna put up a clock on the corner. David, it'll be 30 seconds to shout out whoever you want to shout out, no matter what it was, your own podcast, yourself, your family, it doesn't matter. Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
I mean, for me, honestly, it's good being on another podcast. It's been a while since I've been on a live show, but I mean, if you guys want to, you guys can, tune on into Motor City Mania. That's my live podcast. Obviously, there's a bunch of great podcasts out there for different people. Obviously, great panel. You guys are very informed. You guys got a lot of good opinions. But you know what? I'm just enjoying the opportunity to, take a moment to kind of step away, do something that's a little bit more freelance work. But, really great job, really great fun time with you guys. So enjoyed it.
All right, we do appreciate you, man. I think last time, once again, I think be sure to Robbie and Mike for holding it down while I've been out. We're going through the new pictures. Got so much. Next week will be our final episode of season 1. We'll be wrapping up season 1 next week, man. So make sure y'all here for that one. That's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. We'll be talking about the recap of the Super Bowl. So I do not want to miss that, man. We got a bunch of cool topics like we always do. We'll probably have a bunch of questions containing the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure, man. So that being said, I thank all you guys so much. Be sure anything you want to say.
No, thanks. It's great to have you back, man, brother. We missed you, man. Really did.
I appreciate it, man.
And thank you, David, for being on. Appreciate you too, man. Fellow Lion fan. I definitely want to try to get on your show. Maybe some of us will try to get on your show if you'll have us.
Sure.
I have actually been watching your podcast as well, and we'll get together, man. It's been great having you. You're really.
I watched this podcast a couple of times.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah. I have to. All right, Robbie, you got anything you want to say?
Welcome back and welcome, Dave.
Thank you.
And to you Raven fans, don't hinder the Yinzer.
All right, Monkey, anything you want to say?
No. Fuck y'all.
Damn. It's like that. Damn.
Hey,
that's what I call a wonderful Valentine's Day gift.
Hey, man, everybody.
That's what I call for being up for
your fault.
28 hours.
You can go to sleep.
Hey,
That's your fault.
He's an angry person.
He got the shirt explains everything, so you know how I feel about him. So.
Kevin, you need a role model.
All right, y'all. So let me go ahead and put me to the full screen. With this final thought, we're going to get up out of here. All right. Once again, I want to thank everybody that's been supporting us from day one. So we went from the extra point all the way to JBK Zone coverage. So this is season one. Like I said, next week we'll be wrapping up the season one of JBK Zone coverage podcast. After that, what I'm trying to do is have the off-season presented, off-season dates for the next year up to next year, either next show or after the show, but I'll have it posted so y'all know what our upcoming dates are as far as the off season goes. Make sure you look and tune in for that. But other than that, thank y'all once again. So let's go to get this final thought put up here. It's going to get us up out of here. All right, y'all. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. And that is our final thought. I'm the big dog. Be sure that's Monkey. That's Robbie. Let's get up out of here. See y'all later, man. Y'all enjoy Super Bowl.